Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens.
Each Tuesday, we take you on a deep dive into one of our favorite conspiracy theories.
If you have a sense of humor and an open mind, come take this journey with us.
We'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you. Is this thing on?
What's up?
Sup, bro?
Tag team back again. Party up, party up. So let's begin. You know that song?
No.
Oh.
Well, this whole episode is going to be an educational experience for Colleen because
Again,
I literally, she said, "What's next?" And we said, "Oh, now we're going to talk about Puff Daddy." And she said, "Didn't we already do that?"
Yeah, I was really confused.
No,
And we're
we
like,
talked about Tupac.
To be clear, we did talk about Puff Daddy with Tupac.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, wait a second. Is Puff Daddy and P. Diddy the same person?
And doesn't he have another name?
He's got so many.
So
We're going
many
to talk
names.
about
It's
it.
not
Fair.
Puffy comes.
Well, the theory is he kept changing his name to avoid legal issues. But anyway, we're jumping ahead.
so anyway, this is a hot episode.
This is a hot episode. Before we get into it, we got to do our
Drink check.
Drink check.
All right. Today we are drinking the Diddy. But to be fair, we're doing everything we can to not support Diddy, okay?
No.
So the Diddy is a cocktail that is half Ciroc vodka, half lemonade with a lemon slice.
And date rape drug.
That was dark and that's not funny. As if you've been listening to us since last summer, you know that we love a vodka lemonade.
Yes.
These
so
girls
delicious.
love a lemonade
Yes.
on the beach, a frozen lemonade especially.
Love a frozen lemonade. I'd go feral for that right now.
So we're having Tito's and lemonade.
Yep.
And I just think that everyone else should have a vodka lemonade when the summer is here. If that appeals to you, just no Ciroc because we are not supporting Diddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean Diddy Combs is the 54-year-old music mogul and entrepreneur known for his record label Bad Boy Records, which launched the careers of artists like the Notorious B.I.G., Mace, and Faith Evans, in addition to his own musical career. Beyond music, Diddy has built a business empire that spans multiple industries, including fashion, television, spirits, and media.
And human trafficking.
He's known for his influence on the hip-hop industry and is considered one of the wealthiest figures in the entertainment world. In November 2023, his former partner, singer Cassie Ventura, filed a civil lawsuit accusing Combs of rape, sex trafficking, and physical abuse over a 10-year period. The case was settled the following day, with details remaining confidential. Subsequently, multiple individuals have come forward with similar allegations, including claims of drugging, sexual assault, coercion into non-consensual sexual activities, and the creation of non-consensual pornography.
Ugh.
In September of 2024, Diddy was arrested and indicted on federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The indictment alleges that Diddy utilized his business operations to facilitate these criminal activities, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and drug distribution. He has pled not guilty to all charges and remains in custody. I actually reached out to Emily, friend of the pod, who works we've referenced her a lot. She works in the prison system. She works with sex offenders. I asked her if she wanted to guest on an episode. She politely declined.
She said, no, thank you.
She said, let me tell you what she said, though. She said, I don't really think I have anything interesting to add. He's accused of sexual crimes, but it doesn't seem like it's out of paraphilias. He's not really a sex offender in the way we think about it. He seems more like personality driven, perhaps antisocial, but add in money, power, and fame, and it's an ugly mix.
That's what I said when we started, is I thought it was more like sociopathic.
Yeah.
Which is a type of antisocial personality.
Probably his underlying psychiatric issue, but definitely seems more like narcissistic, antisocial, entitled, and he's got money and power, and that is what has driven this.
Oh, yeah. He thought we could get away with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about Puff Daddy?
Puff, P. Where does that come from?
Can I hypothesize before we get there?
Sure.
My hypothesis is that it comes from him wearing puffy jackets all the
Oh.
time. That's my
Okay, hold on.
hypothesis.
Let me think of mine.
That's not what he claims.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what is it? Puff Daddy
Uh-huh.
or Puff Diddy?
Well, Puff Daddy was his first name.
I think it's something to do with no.
Ferocious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something with the letter P, like
Oh, I just thought, like,
Yeah.
is he like puffing people out?
Oh.
Is he killing people, or is he like puffing people out?
The magic dragon.
Neither one of those is accurate,
Okay.
according to his story.
Yeah.
But-
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
so we're gonna do this, but are we gonna preface this with like, obviously, there is.
Yeah, this is like we're scratching the surface here.
Yes.
There's gonna be so much more.
It's like an onion.
There is so much.
Right.
Today, we're going to kind of give you people like Colleen who don't even know who Puff Daddy is. We're going to give you like a little overview.
Well, I knew
Yeah.
who he was. I know what's going on, but I haven't been following it as extensively.
you know what's going on?
I don't even know. I
Is
think
it?
if this falls even under like the umbrella of
Yeah,
conspiracy.
it does.
theories.
It does
Okay.
because
It does.
everyone's in on it.
Yeah.
All these people
The
have been-
Illuminati.
have been covering this
The
up.
Illuminati.
Yes.
He literally has conspiracy charges. So this is 100%
Oh,
a conspiracy.
hell yeah.
So now you're going back and you're looking at these video clips and it's like everybody knew.
Right. And
Yeah.
then how did it stay?
Yeah, I mean, if you just told me the story, I'd be like, that is so far fetched. There's no way that's real. But it's
Yeah.
like, it was real and everyone knew.
Right.
So let me tell you guys a little bit of history here. And
Okay.
then we're going to get into a discussion of some of kind of the theories we've seen online and
Right.
what we've been, because Kate and I have been following this very closely.
Yeah.
And I think, Colleen, after you hear all this, you're going to be
I'm so intrigued.
Yeah.
invested.
Well, I know
Not
a
only
little
is she
bit.
going to be invested, but the AI on her phone is going to pick up all of this conversation, and all of a sudden her For You page is just going to
Yeah, it's gonna be full of it.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit about, if you don't know, who Puff Daddy is, and then we'll kind of get into it.
If you don't know, now you know.
His name was Sean John Combs.
Sean John.
Now,
Sean
he has been
John.
known as a lot of things. He was known as Puff Daddy, and then P. Diddy, and then just Diddy, and then most recently Love or Brother Love.
What?
I don't think that one's stuck. So he was born on November 4th, 1969.
He's a Scorpio.
What are the traits Scorpios have?
Scorpios they're nuts,
Spicy.
and
Oh.
they will.
I mean,
sting.
this man is not. If you watch these videos of him like losing his mind,
Yeah.
it's wild. So his father was a veteran. Unfortunately, he got into kind of a life of crime. He was shot and killed at the age of 33, leaving behind a 3-year-old Sean Combs, who he also had a sister as well.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. So Sean Combs was raised by his like single mom, who I think was a teacher's assistant and a model. And he went to Catholic school. He was also an altar boy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Red
Oh,
flags.
no.
Immediately red
What
flags.
what era was he an altar boy?
This would be like the 70s and 80s.
Oh.
Oh.
Bad times.
He went to an all boys Catholic high school where he played football.
Mhm.
And it
It
was
gets
on
worse.
Yeah.
It was on the football team
Oh, it gets worse.
that he earned the nickname. Well, Puff was his nickname
Okay.
for his anger issues, because he
Oh,
said he
no.
used to huff and puff and get angry. So they would call him Puff.
Oh.
And then he made that Puff Daddy later on. And again, I think if you see, there are all these clips that have resurfaced now of him with his anger issues, and
Yeah.
it's off the charts.
Yeah.
He went on to attend Howard University
HU.
as a business major, but he dropped out. He attended for 2 years and dropped out. His college legacy, however, was throwing parties, which would attract thousands of people.
Mm.
He did eventually earn an honorary doctorate from Howard, and he's gone on to donate millions to Howard and to other historically Black colleges. But he drops out and he returns to New York City, and he begins interning at Uptown Records in 1990. He worked as a talent director, and he helped develop a number of stars, including Mary J. Blige and Usher.
Yes, Usher.
So Usher is kind of the first problem, right?
Yes.
Oh, and Justin Bieber.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
But Justin Bieber is a part of this. in
Yeah,
some
Much
way.
later. We are in like 1990. Bieber's like not born. Okay.
That's when I'll join.
Okay.
Me. Yeah.
Usher, we know, kind of discovered Bieber, which again,
Yeah.
this all is connected. So Usher is the first problem though. So Usher's like 13 or 14.
Yeah, young.
And his mom signs off, gives temporary custody to Puff Daddy.
Right.
Wait.
So I'm going to say that when we did Tupac, I was like, man, I keep calling him different names. So I was trying to just call him like Sean Combs, but
Yeah.
Diddy, Daddy, Puff Daddy.
Diddy's easier.
Diddy. We'll call him Diddy. Okay. So Usher's mom, Usher had a single mother. And I think he was sort of in like some young boy bands and that kind of thing. He had a bit of a musical career. He's going off. He's like being signed.
He's Usher.
He's going to release his first solo album. And so like, why don't you go live with Diddy for a year. They gave Diddy like guardianship.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
They called it Puff Flavor Camp or something. Okay.
Oh no.
In the meantime, the label thought that Diddy's approach was like, quote, too aggressive. And so they fire him in 1993. And that's when he goes on to establish Bad Boy Records. So we talked a lot about Bad Boy Records in the Tupac episode. You guys can go back. I don't want to get too in depth. But he took with him kind of his first star at Bad Boy Records was Christopher Wallace, known as Biggie Smalls, known as Notorious B.I.G. He had signed him at Uptown. He gets fired. He takes him with him to Bad Boy Records. And that's kind of the first star. His first album, Ready to Die, was the first project for the label, and he went on to work with Faith Evans, 112, Usher, Lil' Kim, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, Aretha Franklin, TLC.
Yep.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah. Aretha. Yeah. RESPECT.
So during this time, we kind of covered this period of time in the Tupac episode. There's like the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, and
Right.
rappers are trying to make it. Interestingly, I didn't realize this because, again, when we were talking about when you in the previous episode, when you're like, name a Puff Daddy song,
Couldn't do it.
and I kept thinking like, I'll be missing you. I didn't realize because I definitely had the cassette tape in elementary school,
Yeah.
and my friend bought it for me for my birthday, and it had a label on it, a parental label. So we felt so rebellious that like I had this cassette tape.
Yeah.
I listened to it on my yellow Sony boombox.
I had a black Sony boombox.
You guys had boom boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had to hit record when your song came on the radio.
Yeah.
You could record your mixtape.
I had an MP3 player.
Yeah, that
And
was
then an iPod
after me.
shuffle.
that was college.
Did you ever get on Napster?
No. You
Napster.
guys had boom
After
boxes.
Napster came LimeWire.
Yes, LimeWire.
I knew LimeWire.
It took you 12 hours to download a song.
I never did LimeWire, but my cousin did.
So I didn't realize though that was really his first hit. I thought that Puff Daddy was like sort of established, and then his friend dies and he makes this song.
Yeah.
No, his like rise to stardom was really on the back of Biggie's death. He was worth like $10 million before Biggie died, and then afterwards he was worth like 120 million.
Yeah.
Because he was releasing all these albums after his death, and like
Right. It was like he was capitalizing.
I mean,
on
he
what
definitely
said.
profited.
Who killed Biggie?
We talked about that. Unsolved.
Right.
Biggie and Tupac's.
She's like, I don't remember this. We talked about this. That yes, Tupac and Biggie died 6 months apart, both shot. Neither crime has been solved.
I remember now.
The thought is either that Diddy put the hit out on Tupac,
Yeah.
and then like Biggie died in retaliation,
Mm-hmm.
or there's another theory that that Diddy's just been killing people who are bigger stars than him. So
There's a whole
anyway,
theory about that. They're reopening Tupac's case.
Keefe D is going to trial
Right.
for Tupac's murder. So on September 7th, 1996, Mike Tyson fought Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Mike Tyson had just gotten out of jail, and so this fight was sort of like his big return to heavyweight prominence. Tyson wins in a technical knockout in the first round. So he wins his heavyweight championship, and everyone exits into the MGM lobby. And then the Orlando Anderson kerfuffle occurs. Tupac recognizes him in the MGM lobby.
Yeah.
And there's all these videos of him and like others just, coming after Orlando. So then his bodyguard gets him out, and then they decide to head to this club 662. And Tupac's bodyguard said that as they were leaving the Lexer, Tupac hands him the keys to his car and says, I'm going to ride with Suge, but we're going to be drinking. So you drive behind me and you can DD us. So they're on the Las Vegas Strip at the intersection of Flamingo Road and Caval Lane. There was someone from Suge's entourage in front of them, which was rare. And then Tupac is in the passenger seat. Suge is driving. Tupac's security's behind him. And then on the they're allegedly speaking to these girls out the driver's side window who are like, where's the party at? And then a white Cadillac pulls up.
Oh, God.
The passenger side and opens fire.
Oh, my gosh.
Tupac is shot in the chest, hip, and hand. He undergoes multiple surgeries over the next 6 days before eventually died. Sounds like of a pulmonary embolism. And it actually sounds like he was resuscitated multiple times. And then his mom showed up, and his mom was like, listen, enough. Yeah. She said something more philosophical than that, but I can't remember it. So anyway, mom comes up and is like, let him go. So on the 13th of September, he dies. 6 months after this happened, Notorious B.I.G. is killed after attending a Soul Train Music Awards after party in Los Angeles.
Like, who's taking them all out?
Well, that's the question. So Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, he calls
Okay.
himself Keefe D,
KVD.
is a member of the South Side Crips gangs.
Okay.
He's been widely outside with this case.
Yep.
So it sounds like he thought he had immunity. He thought he was far enough out. Don't commit a crime and then tell the cops without running it by your lawyer.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
That's like criminal 101, Megan.
he wrote a book and he was trying to sell it. He was trying to pull a little like O.J. Simpson,
Oh,
profiting off his crime.
yeah.
So in 2018, Keefe D claimed that he was in the car from which the shots were fired. He has suggested his nephew, Orlando Anderson, this is who the kerfuffle
Yeah.
was, the one who actually pulled the trigger. Anderson, as I mentioned, was a suspect, but he was never charged, and then he died. There was a 2.5-hour secret police interview that was recorded last year that led to his arrest for the murder of Tupac. And so here's what he alleges in that recording happened. He has pled not guilty, but here's what we have. So he says Puff Daddy was in Anaheim after a concert, and he makes this announcement to the room at large. I will give anything to anyone who takes out Tupac and Suge. Then Keefe says that there was a second interaction between just him and Puff Daddy. He was like, I'll pay you to do it. And Keefe's like, will you pay me $1 million? And he's like, yeah. And they shook on it. And that was the deal. Okay. Like Keefe says that, like, he's like, honestly, I wasn't about to like go out and kill him.
Right.
This was this discussion we had. Keefe D says that Puff Daddy's motivation here was just to eliminate the competition. And, so we have like Suge Knight and Tupac are with our rival record label. We've got the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. And like this whole thing happens. Then Keefe says that he drives to Vegas for the match in a rented Buick Century. And he meets up with his nephew, Orlando Anderson, and his buddies, who are in a rented white Cadillac. Keefe D's at dinner during that whole kerfuffle in the MGM lobby. He says that actually he's eating at the MGM and like a bunch of people come up and they're like telling him about it. And so he claims after this attack, they're like, you know what? This is the perfect time. He's here. We got an offer of $1 million. Let's go do this.
Oh my God.
So
Damn.
Keefe's
$1 million actually doesn't seem like that much money to take some
of these things where it's like for 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
You took that?
Yeah.
It was absurd.
You're right.
Keefe's friend Zip gives him a gun. They're driving up Flamingo. They saw Tupac hanging out the window. And I thought I saw Tupac reach for something. I thought it could be a gun. So I hit the floor of the car. So I didn't see it or anything, nor was I involved in anything.
Of course.
He said shooting started. Allegedly, someone from Death Row Records returned fire. So then he says he went back to Puff Daddy's assistant and said, you guys owe me $1 million. And they said, yeah, we got you. But they never actually made the payment. So 5 months after the shooting, Snoop and Puffy hold a press conference to end the feud. And Snoop says, because we love Snoop, right?
Yeah.
Snoop says, kids around the world are watching. By calling for a truce, we are giving them something to live for.
Oh, what an icon. We love Snoop.
A month later, Biggie's gunned down in LA.
Oh, no.
I'll Be Missing You jumped to number 1. It was the first rap song on the Billboard Top 100.
Wow.
So just interesting that, he benefits from his buddy's death.
Yep.
Diddy went on to release a total of 5 albums of his own. He eventually changed his name to P. Diddy in 2001 in anticipation of releasing a gospel album. But it sounds like, honestly, like the documentaries I've watched so far that have come out with the limited information are alleging that like he had a lot of like lawsuits and that kind of thing. And perhaps the name change was his way of trying to like protect his brand and like get out of some of these lawsuits.
Oh.
But they say that if that was his goal, like it was not effective.
No, because isn't it your legal name anyway?
So he has his 5 albums. He had some criminal trouble that we'll discuss shortly. So he never released this gospel album that he wanted to release in 2001, but he's received 11 Grammy nominations, 3 Grammy Awards. Did not know this. He opened for NSYNC on their celebrity tour. That's like an odd mash for me. NSYNC. NSYNC's not involved, okay? Maybe Justin.
Probably Justin.
But not JC.
No.
Okay, Justin's for JC.
JC girlies.
I was a Justin girl growing up, but definitely just for JC. JC carried that band. Anyway, Diddy is worth over $1 billion. He is the head of Combs Enterprises, which is an umbrella company for his portfolio of businesses. So that includes Sean John, which we mentioned. Sean John, interestingly, though, had a little bit of drama because There's like some sweatshop.
Oh,
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that tracks.
It was like in Guatemala, some sweatshop
Is
conditions.
that how he got his humans?
Yeah, I was about to say,
That he was trafficking?
was he trafficking people through there as a cover up?
I don't know. He has 2 restaurants called Justin's, which is named for his oldest son. They've both closed down. I think one was in Atlanta, one was in New York. He helped develop Ciroc vodka. He got 50% of the profits from them. He invests in a television network. He's an investor in Aqua Hydrate, which is a calorie-free beverage for athletes. And he has this, like, there's some competitive gaming infrastructure. So he's got his hands in like a lot of businesses.
Stuff. Yeah.
He also is famous for developing the reality series Making the Band for MTV. He mentored
wow.
Danity Kane. Do you know Danity Kane?
No.
Okay. They were like it's like a pretty big girl group. There were multiple series, but that was like the big band. Do you remember Dream,
Yes.
the girl group?
Yes.
No.
He also signed Dream. So it's like quite a spectrum of things.
It makes me think that he was doing
I know.
sexual
Yeah.
relations.
Well,
with
again,
all of
you
these
look back
people.
in retrospect and like,
Poor girls.
and like,
The
yeah,
Me Too.
I mean, Aubrey from Dandy Kane, now when you watch some of these clips of her, it's like she was just like screaming out for help.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2005, he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people of the year. 2023, right before all this happened, he gets the key to New York City. But the point is that like he was respected by people.
My God.
Um,
And they all knew.
in his personal life, he has 6 children. His oldest son, Justin, was born in 1993.
He has kids?
Yes.
He has 6 children. His oldest son, Justin, was born in 1993. Justin goes on to go to UCLA on a football scholarship. There's some drama with him. Stand by.
No, I can only imagine.
And he graduates in 2016. He had an on-again, off-again relationship with Kim Porter for over a decade. We're going to talk about Kim Porter.
Okay.
Okay. She died of pneumonia.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he's got an on-again, off-again relationship with Kim Porter for over a decade. And from that relationship, he adopted her son, Quincy. And they had a son in 98 and then twin daughters in 2006. But 5 months before the twins are born, he has a daughter with some other woman.
Of course.
Sarah Chapman. I think she's just like a blip player in all of this. Because after that, he goes into this 11-year relationship with Cassie Ventura, who's the one who brought him down.
Oh my
We're
God.
going to talk about Cassie. So I think she was like an aspiring singer and model.
But she brought him down. Good for her.
I'm going to tell you how she brought him down. Yeah, she's the one who has instigated all of this.
Yeah.
My God.
So Kim Porter, who was a significant other for over a decade,
Okay.
that he has multiple children with.
Yes.
There is a theory. We're jumping ahead here, but she was allegedly shopping a tell-all about him. And then she mysteriously died,
She died
with no
before she could
comorbidities
release
at
it.
the age of 47 of pneumonia.
Oh,
Which is
no.
becomes
And
a
she's
reoccurring
not the
theme.
only person who died
Yeah.
of pneumonia.
In relation to Diddy.
Wait a second. With the same, like, coroner?
As a matter of fact, yes. But we're jumping ahead.
Okay.
So, but after Kim Porter, he has this relationship, no children, with Cassie Ventura.
Okay.
And she's the one who eventually files a
Brings him
lawsuit that I'll
down.
tell you about, which has brought all this attention.
Okay.
She's the one in the heinous video getting assaulted by him. We'll
I
talk
don't
about
think
it.
I've
Yeah.
seen that. You guys
In the
have seen
elevator,
that?
right? No, no, no.
No, in front of an elevator in a hotel.
Yes.
I have not seen that.
So before we get into it, let me just kind of recap. I sort of summarized some of these in the Tupac episode, but kind of summarize some of the legal issues that he's had over the year. Because the interesting thing is, or over the years, because the interesting thing is that he doesn't have any kind of felony criminal record. Like, it just, part of the problem everyone thinks is that like he just kept getting away with things, and then
But
was
he
like,
never even got written up.
yeah. So he was like, it was like, if you just like let someone, he's just
Clean
going to keep
slate.
pushing the
Right.
boundaries, right?
Right.
So
he sounds a little bit like a sociopath.
100%.
Yeah.
And he definitely has some, just like watching his outbursts that are now on film. I'm like,
It's
this
giving
he-
Kanye.
Well, now the theories
Does he
are that
have-
Kanye might be a hero in all this.
Yes.
Oh
The
my
theory is that
I don't know if
Kanye might
I don't know if
actually-
I'm buying that.
Me neither, but I am like, what?
The theories is that he's been like protecting people. Like him taking the microphone from Taylor Swift. It was all him protecting her from all of this.
Oh,
Yes.
Again,
Okay.
yeah, I don't buy it, but that is a theory that's out there. So anyway, 1991 is kind of his first issue, his first legal issue. He organized a celebrity basketball game, and they were over capacity. 9 people died in a stampede. He did not get charged, but he did get taken to civil court, and mostly he just writes checks and things go
Yeah.
away. So pays him off, whatever.
Again, follow the money.
And then 94, we already talked about the Quad Studios shooting of Tupac. So this is when Tupac is shot. This is not the one time he was killed, but kind of what made him very paranoid, is that somebody comes into Quad Studios, robs Tupac. Diddy and Biggie and their whole posse, they're all in the recording studio. Nobody gets robbed except Tupac. Tupac gets shot 5 times. And then Tupac always claimed that he thought Diddy was behind it, and he was mad at Biggie because Biggie didn't have his back.
Right.
So we don't have any proof that Diddy was involved in that, but most people think he was.
Right.
In 1980,
That's when he got shot in the testicles.
when he shot himself.
Yeah.
In 1985, they were in an Atlanta club, and there was an altercation between people from Death Row and Bad Boy Records. Again, this goes back to the East
this is
Coast,
when he was
West
dating
Coast.
J-Lo.
This is not that one
Oh.
yet. This there were so many.
Oh my gosh.
There's a fight between Death Row Records and Bad Boy Records. It led to a gunfight. A Death Row employee dies. Diddy was present, but he denied any involvement.
Of course.
Just got away with it, right?
Right.
The next year, he was charged with criminal mischief because he pulled a gun on a reporter who was taking a photo of his car. But again, no worries. He just pays a fine. But this is the first time he actually has like a criminal charge,
Yeah.
which again he's acquitted of, but first time he actually goes to court outside of like civil court. We know in 96 Tupac died and 97 Biggie died, so we're not going to talk about that. We've already covered it, but
Go listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I would say Diddy's involved, probably.
Heavily involved.
Yeah.
100%.
She says like
I'm watching videos of P. Diddy now.
So then in 1999, Sean Combs filmed a music video with Nas for the song Hate Me Now, in which they were depicted being crucified. So after they finished filming, Diddy is like, you know what, that's kind of sacrilegious. I don't want to be on a cross in this music video. Can we take it out? But then MTV airs the original video. So Colleen, MTV, we used to watch
TRL.
music videos on MTV.
Yeah, music TV, right? Isn't that what it stands for?
Yeah.
It used to be only music videos.
Correct.
I know
Then,
that,
yeah.
Yes. And then we used to rush home to watch TRL.
Yes. TRL.
With Carson Daly.
Oh my gosh. And they'd have celebrities on there.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we digress.
I love TRL.
So Diddy goes over to the office of Nas's manager and he assaults this record label executive. He uses his fists, a phone, a chair, and a champagne bottle. He and his buddy beat the shit out of this guy. Then Diddy apologizes after the fact, pays him $500,000. The guy drops the charges.
Yeah. Hush money.
The court does sentence him to 1 day of anger management. So,
1 day.
Yep.
You owe me a soda.
This same year, we get into the story you were referencing, Kate.
Okay.
So again, Colleen, we've kind of mentioned this in Tupac. There was a period where J-Lo and Diddy were dating.
I knew this.
And they were
I know.
high.
I knew this.
Like,
Yes.
they were high socialites.
Yes.
Like, they were all over the
Apparently,
top.
their big reveal was, I saw one of these documentaries, like at one of his white parties, they were photographed making out, and that was like the hard launch, you know?
Yeah.
Like her and Ashton Kutcher are the ones like in freaking deep.
Yeah. There's a whole list.
There's some of them. So Sean Combs, J-Lo, and Shine. So Shine is this like rapper protege of Diddy's. So they're all at a club in Manhattan and a woman is shot in the face. So allegedly there was an argument between Combs and a patron. She swears to this day he shot her in the face. He says, I could see both him and Shine step back, pull out their guns, aim, and I saw Diddy's gun go off and shoot me in the face.
Yep.
They then flee. They were pursued by police through 11 red lights. Apparently, Diddy tried to bribe his driver with a diamond ring that J-Lo had given him to claim ownership of the gun that he had on him, but he didn't do it. And in the end, they all get taken in. J-Lo gets released. Combs and Shine were arrested on weapons violations and other charges. Johnny Cochran represented him. You know who Johnny Cochran is? OJ? Anybody?
Oh.
Yeah. So he represents Sean Combs and J-Lo testifies on, Diddy's behalf. And
Everyone's saying she lied under
yeah,
oath.
that's why it's all coming back.
Yes.
Is that
Oh my
also
God.
relating to her impending divorce from Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
So,
It's probably like, I had this great girl, Jennifer Garner.
well, he says that was his greatest regret, was divorcing Jennifer Garner.
But he was like in deep with the alcohol, right?
Yeah.
God.
In the end, the blame is placed on Shine, who ended up serving 8 years out of a 10-year sentence. But the victim, again, still to this day maintains that even before all of this, like when I was researching Tupac,
Yeah.
she was adamant that like it was Diddy who shot me. Then that driver they tried to blackmail, he went on to file a lawsuit claiming emotional damage. Diddy had to write him a check. Again, he's just writing lots of checks.
Right.
2001, he's arrested in Florida for driving with a suspended license. He also assaults a reporter who asked if he knew what happened to Biggie Smalls. So that goes to trial. He's cleared. 2007, he sued for assault by another man who settled for an undisclosed amount. And then the same year, a choreographer from Making the Band, that show he had with Danity Kane, alleged that he assaulted them. Those charges are dismissed. Again, it's just like he keeps getting away with it.
Yeah.
In 2015, he's charged with assault at a Super Bowl party. Those charges were dropped. And then that same year, I had mentioned that his son, Justin, played at UCLA. So apparently, Diddy assaulted the coach at UCLA. But once again, charges are dropped.
That's what happens. It's like money.
Yep.
Bro.
Hush.
Money.
Oprah.
Oh, yeah. Oprah's involved.
Oh, my
Everyone's
God,
involved.
guys.
2017, a former personal chef sued Diddy for working long hours without overtime pay and forcing her to feed him and his guests immediately post-coitus while they were still undressed.
Yep.
Again, they settle. Lil Rodney Jones, again, he filed a lawsuit before the Cassie lawsuit came out. And he's the producer who worked with Diddy on his 2023 The Love album, Off the Grid. So he worked with Diddy for 14 months. And during that time, he actually lived with Diddy and he acted as a videographer, filming his day-to-day. So this guy's got hundreds of hours.
Oh,
of
no.
video. So he actually filed a lawsuit before the charges came out against Diddy. Okay. And he filed this claim that during this 14-month period, he was sexually assaulted, allegedly forced by Diddy to engage in sex acts, made to solicit sex workers, drugged, humiliated, and says he was repeatedly groped. So he says he has on video hundreds of hours of recordings of Diddy engaged in illegal activity, including acquisition, use, and distribution of drugs, including mushrooms, ketamine, GHB, cocaine, ecstasy, and marijuana.
Yep.
Distribution and displaying of unregistered illegal firearms, which we're going to talk about in a second. Providing laced beverages to minors and sex workers. He also names Diddy's son Justin, who we mentioned in the last episode, and actor Cuba Gooding Jr. in the suit that he filed against Diddy.
Oh, wow.
He alleges that he discovered hidden cameras in every room, and he believes that Diddy has video recordings of politicians, athletes, and music executives without their consent. And so, as a result, Diddy thinks he's above the law. He thinks he's got the T on everyone. He would allegedly capture homosexual activities between rappers, and then he'd blackmail them with this video. And he actually tried to bribe Rodney Jones with Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he would engage in sexual activities.
Oh, my God.
Jones alleges that Diddy required all employees, so like his butler, his chef, his housekeeper, to carry a pouch or fanny pack with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana. And we're not talking like little marijuana gummies. We're talking like 250 milligrams of marijuana, which seems like a very large quantity.
So much.
And Tucci, which is ecstasy and cocaine.
Whoa.
He says there were constant threats of violence, including allegations that he had law enforcement in his pocket, bragging about murdering people, bragging about bribing witnesses. I did a case where J-Lo was with him.
Oh, yeah.
He allegedly shot the girl.
Yep.
But his protege Shine took the fall.
Right.
Lil Rod claims that Diddy told him he had tampered with the jurors.
Oh,
in that
my
case.
God.
Rodney Lil Rod Jones claims that Diddy or his son, Justin, shot his son's friend G in the abdomen and leg in the LA recording studio, and G has since disappeared. I also read somewhere that maybe G's out there, but he's got a missing leg. I don't know. But there have been no charges. Lil Rod claims Diddy orchestrated a cover-up, so there's a lot of ongoing cases with him. And then we get to 2023. So this is when everything kind of comes out, okay? So Cassie...
My God, I'm just watching the video now.
It's awful. That's her.
Is
Crap.
awful.
Yeah.
The way he chases after.
Yeah. 2023, his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who it sounds like was trying to be a singer, and he was supposed to help her be a singer. She's also like a bit of a model.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was 19. He was 37 when they started dating. They date for 11 years.
You know who also likes to date only 20 years old?
Jay-Z
Mhm.
And
Leo.
Leo.
yep.
She files this multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Diddy. So apparently he tries to pay her an 8-figure deal to like not file this lawsuit, but the statute of limitations is about to expire on this. So
Yeah.
apparently she wasn't satisfied with his offer. She claims she wanted him to be held accountable. So she files this lawsuit.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, she's a hero.
real MVP.
Yeah, she's a hero. So the allegations that she made are pretty horrific. She comes out to allege that he raped her. He forced her to engage with acts with other males against her will. He beat her. There's this awful video that
Yes.
Colleen is watching right now that
Yeah.
she's like disgusted by. She accused him of blowing up her boyfriend, Kid Cudi.
Yes.
You know him?
Yep.
Accused him of blowing up his car, claimed that he forced her to take substances and dangled her friend over a balcony. There's a lot of dangling over balconies.
Yeah, dangling over.
The lawsuit got settled like the same day it was filed for an undisclosed amount.
What?
But Yeah, so this she really filed this lawsuit. It's done, but like just her filing this lawsuit was enough for like everyone else to start
get
coming
triggered.
forward. That this caused, I think, in May, that surveillance video to be released and other people to come forward. So in the following 9 months, there were 11 civil complaints filed against him with sexual abuse complaints between 91 and 2009. And he just keeps claiming like, everyone's just out to extort me. And,
he's the
I'm
victim.
innocent.
He's
He's
the
the victim.
victim.
Yes. He's like, I've lost, over 18 brand deals from this.
Insane.
Yeah.
Diddy just sounds like a big mob boss.
Uh-huh.
Like he sounds like the mafia boss of Hollywood. He's blackmailing people. He's got people in his back pocket.
Yeah, he's probably got people who are bigger than him that he's got video evidence of.
Right.
And then he just uses it to hold over them and control them.
Yeah.
Again, just going through the kind of history of things that have happened in the past. So that happened. So then in March 2024, his homes in LA and Miami were raided by the Department of Homeland Security. And actually, they couldn't find him. Do you remember this? That we all kind of thought maybe he had fled for a brief moment?
Yes.
They actually found him and like his drug mule on the tarmac in Miami.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you almost got away.
Well, they didn't arrest him then. But yeah, I think for sure
They
this
totally
guy
can't
would
leave the
flee
country.
if he
Oh yeah. That's why they wouldn't let him out on bail.
right. That's
Because they
he's
knew he would
multiple
flee.
times.
Yeah.
They
Right.
denied him bail. Yeah. So they arrest his little drug mule. So again, they're like, they're probably just trying to get to the little guys who are gonna
Right.
turn on the people above them until they get the whole story. So what did they find in those raids? We've talked briefly about it. They found 3 AR-15s with the serial numbers filed off.
Oh
Could that be a little more suspicious?
my gosh.
Why do you need to file off the serial numbers? The drugs they found in the house: cocaine, oxycodone, Xanax, meth, Kate. Beta hydroxybutyrate. That's a lab we send when we're trying to figure
Oh,
out if
yeah.
our patient is in ketoacidosis.
Ketoacidosis. Beta hydroxy.
So I have never even heard of this as like a drug.
You can take it as a drug?
I mean, it was found in his house. So beta hydroxybutyrate I've only heard of in a medical condition that sometimes
Right.
when your body goes into an acidotic state from ketoacidosis, maybe from diabetes or
Right.
something, the way we confirm that is that you have the presence of beta hydroxybutyrate in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard of it as a drug, so I had to look it up, and apparently it's almost identical to GHB. It's a synthetic form of our naturally occurring neurotransmitter, used as a recreational drug, has the same chemical formulation. So sounds like another kind of,
That's wild.
date rape drug, I don't know. We digress. I just was like, that's really weird. Okay. Ketamine, over 1,000 bottles.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
And then have you seen the photo with the police officers and the over 800 used sex toys?
No.
Yep.
Yeah. And then his lawyer, I saw this on like the TMZ documentary. His lawyer is like, well, I'm sure if you just like went to the parking lot of Costco, you would see lots of people coming out with baby oil. And
Costco
they're like,
immediately responded,
Oh, yeah.
and they were like, "Absolutely not. We have never sold baby oil."
uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Costco said no.
And then the lawyer's trying to make this out to be a racial
Racist.
issue.
Yeah.
October 1st, 2024, the Washington Post reported the team of lawyers will be filing as many as 120 more lawsuits covering assaults that took place during the 2000s and 2010s. There are 120 plaintiffs, 25 of whom were minors, with the youngest being 9 years old.
No.
They're both male and female. Half of the alleged victims say they reported the assault to police, to a doctor, or to the FBI.
Oh my God.
And nothing happened.
Nope. There are apparently 3,000 abuse allegations and over 100 additional cases being actively examined. Prosecutors announced that there are more co-defendants to be named, and they said, are you ready for this? The names that we're going to name, assuming our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Yes.
I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. And then 10 months after that, we get the big indictment of guns, prostitution, drugs, racketeering, arson. And to be clear, we're talking a lot about allegations of like minors being on video, being assaulted. He actually has not been charged with that. I'll talk about some of the
charges,
lawsuits against him, but as far as like the legal charges for his jail time,
Nothing to do with-
there have been no charges about minors yet.
Okay.
The allegations of the Puff Daddy, known for his white parties that were attended by a who's who of celebrities. Apparently they used to have like, it was like a big deal to get a white party invitation,
Mm-hmm.
but there was like an inside and outside.
Yes.
So outside was like the celebrities, but then some of them, if they weren't into like the freak offs, which is really just like their term for, it sounds like little orgies or whatever, they weren't allowed inside the house. So
The free cops, aka the trafficking.
God.
Cobes allegedly had assistants, managers, and security staff who made sure that women and male prostitutes were present at these freak-off events, and that the hotel rooms where they stayed were stocked with supplies like baby oil and lubricant. Victims were drugged and forced to participate, sometimes under the threat of guns. He had guns on them. He would record them and then make his victims, so he'd like assault them on camera, and then he would make them watch the filmed assaults. Allegations are that Diddy controlled his victims' housing, tracked their location, dictated their appearance, monitored their medical records, and supplied them with drugs. And so these legal charges came about after this raid. In addition to these legal charges, they also requested all of his money and assets in which the crimes occurred or were profits from crimes. The theory is that maybe they want him to whistleblow on an even larger organization, and the fact that this could be even bigger than Diddy, right? This indictment only covered crimes starting in 2008. So in the meantime, New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act was passed in New York City. It gives this 2-year window in which sexual assault victims can sue. So now we're not talking about jail time and criminal charges. We're talking about like suing. So they can sue over abuse that would have otherwise been outside that statute of limitations. That in May, CNN releases that surveillance video. And the deal is that they were at this hotel in LA. What we now know, or the allegations are, that he had Cassie in a room with him and a male prostitute, and she tried to flee, and he dragged her back.
Yep.
And the employees of the hotel allegedly broke this up. I don't know all the details about all of that, but
Probably got paid off.
it's horrific.
Yeah.
So, and then he's like, I'm really sorry. I mean, it was like his apology is so,
But like,
there's no way you can be a
so
sane person who behaves that way. You can't be like, I just lost my temper. That is not just losing your temper.
No,
That is,
he chased her down,
she has memory issues from it. Like she's
ripped
legit
her to the
concussed.
ground,
Yeah.
BTE.
kicked the shit out of her,
Mhm.
and then dragged her back.
Yeah.
And he's like in a towel because
Yeah,
he's had to
Because
flee.
he clearly was just,
Yeah. And then apparently these hotel employees who stopped the assault, Diddy tried to bribe them to keep it quiet. September 2024, he's indicted by a federal grand jury in Manhattan and charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, transportation for purposes of prostitution, narcotics charges, arson, assault. He was accused of creating, quote, a criminal enterprise in which he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. He has obviously pled not guilty, and he's been denied bail, so he remains in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. So you guys asked me where he was. I got a little insight into this, because when you watch these documentaries, everyone's like, oh, he's in this like really shitty, jail.
He's not though, right?
Well, my friend who worked in the prison system in New York is like, he's actually in one of the newer jails. This is, Emily, we've referenced her before in the podcast. She said, well, it's not brand new, but it's definitely newer than most. I think they're exaggerating a bit, but also they did stuff all the Manhattan guys there after it shut down post Epstein. So there might be some overcrowding, but we also know Diddy is in a, on suicide watch, like protocol.
Yeah.
He's probably
living it up
by himself. Well, not even living it up, but he's probably like in a
solitary or something.
So it's not like
it's also, I heard he was also like refusing to eat because he was like, someone's gonna poison me.
Well,
they probably
he's seen it happen, right?
Yeah.
And then I got a couple updates for you on Diddy's jail experience.
Oh,
now we've had like multiple updates. So initially, a couple months ago, I think prosecutors accused Diddy of breaking jail rules in an attempt to manipulate witness testimony and taint the jury pool.
Are we surprised?
They claim that Diddy has, and I quote, continued to try to evade law enforcement monitoring, corruptly influence witness testimony, and further attack the integrity of these proceedings. They accuse him of ordering payments to fellow inmates to use their telephone accounts and use three-way calling to contact people who were not on his approved contact list against federal prison regulation.
Yep.
In his recorded calls, Diddy instructed his family to contact potential victims and witnesses in his case, as well as promote narratives on social media to influence a potential jury pool in his upcoming May trial. Quote, at the defendant's carefully curated direction, the defendant's children posted a video to their respective social media accounts showing the defendant's children gathered to celebrate the defendant's birthday, the filing said. Combs then monitored the analytics of the post's engagement and explicitly discussed with his family how to ensure that the video had his desired effect on potential jury members. On recorded phone calls with his son, they noted the clear inference that the defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimony helpful to his defense. Prosecutors said the defendant had demonstrated an uncanny ability to get others to do his bidding, employees, family members, and MDC inmates alike. So there was that. He's in a little bit of legal trouble over that. And it's,
I mean, are you surprised? He's clearly manipulative and all the things he's been doing. So are we surprised that he's again, this is like this narcissistic behavior. I'm still above the law.
He was bragging about juror tampering in the Shine trial
Right.
for the shooting with J-Lo. And so, yeah, like, you do it once.
Right, exactly. He's going to try whatever he's done in the past.
That's been successful for him to this point.
Exactly, yeah.
There was also a raid. The jail claims that the purpose of it was to confiscate contraband, including drugs, guns, and cell phones. Apparently, there were 19 pages of legal pad notes photographed during the raid and given to the prosecution. So the defense claims that the legal pad was in a folder marked in pen, written across the front, legal. Guess that makes it very official. And so because this was marked legal,
right,
it was an invasion of privilege. So these documents were used in one of his previous bail hearings, with the prosecution saying they left a strong inference that Combs paid off potential witnesses. So the judge did rule in favor of the defense and was like, yes, anything that was found in those 19 pages, not admissible. And I'm like, well, I want to know what was in those notes.
I know, me too.
Right?
Maybe they'll get released on social media somewhere.
So at some point we'll hear about it.
Yeah, 50 years from now.
Yeah, it'll all be declassified.
Yeah.
Diddy also filed a motion in October requesting an investigation into the prosecution for media leaks, including that famous Cassie video. CNN aired it. Remember, this is kind of the beginning of his downfall, is when they were like, you are sick. So the judge denied the demand, saying there is compelling evidence that the CNN source was not, in fact, the government. Diddy reports that Department of Homeland Security planned and executed these leaks, and that, quote, the videotape was leaked to CNN for one reason alone: to mortally wound the reputation and the prospect of Sean Combs successfully defending himself against these allegations. So if he had won, they would not have been able to include any of the leaked media evidence. So they may have had to drop some of the charges.
Right.
So this was kind of a big victory, that the judge was like, you have not given me any evidence that the prosecutor or Department of Homeland Security is responsible for these media leaks.
Right.
And so it's all going to be admissible in court.
And also, this is so that video of you doing the behavior is what's making people like think of you in a bad light, not the fact that you
did it.
You actually did it, right? Like you actually did the behavior. Again, narcissistic behavior. This is someone else's fault. This is clearly not my fault. That everyone thinks that I'm a bad guy.
Yep. Bingo.
No.
So Diddy was not initially arrested, but when he was stopped on the tarmac in Miami fleeing,
right? And
we were like, where was he going? Right. And he didn't get initially arrested until after, the search and everything.
Right.
Brendan Paul, who was they thought his weapon and drug mule, was arrested for possession of cocaine and marijuana. Anyway, he had all of his charges dropped.
Really?
They claim he did like, pre-trial program, and he did like a substance abuse class. Do you think he maybe cut a deal?
Oh, he definitely cut a deal. He probably knows a lot, and the FBI says, if you can tell us, then you know what? You can go free.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because we know that all these celebrities in their parties are using Mary Jane and cocaine.
Mary Jane.
Yeah. That's what they call it on the streets, Megan. The Mary Jane.
This alleged memoir in like September comes out. So allegedly, Kim Porter kind of helped write this memoir. This book was actually written by investigative journalist Chris Todd, who under his pen name alleged the book's prologue that one of Porter's last wishes was for this memoir/diary to be made public. He told the Rolling Stone that he was given the source material by two people who said they were close to Porter and Combs after the Cassie lawsuit. He told the Associated Press that these sources provided him with a flash drive, documents, and tapes from Porter that he pieced together to create this memoir. Now, Kim Porter's 4 kids have all come out to say that, like, any claims that their mom wrote this book are simply untrue. Anyone who's claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interests at heart.
Oh.
And Diddy's attorney has, of course, said this is fake. This is a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. And again, it is kind of sus because the book is kind of poorly written. It is very short, 59 pages. It was over $22. It actually got taken down by Amazon a couple weeks ago. because of complaints. And people are like, how did it even make it on Amazon?
Right.
So he'd already like posted this. And then when the takedown happened with Diddy, this book shot to #1.
Oh, I'm
on
sure.
Amazon. So someone's definitely profiting. So you have to take that like,
With a grain of salt.
are these accusations real?
Yeah.
What does this guy even know? Some of the accusations that he did describe, though, he said that Kim Porter talked about physical abuse, started when she declined to perform a specific act that Diddy had requested, a sexual act. She said she wasn't interested. And then that's when the physical abuse first started. She talked about him throwing a chair at her, sleeping with her, making videos with multiple underage boys that he had managed, as well as an 18-year-old who went on to become famous. I don't know who would that be, an 18-year-old who went on to become famous. I think she also talked about like he made her participate in these freak-offs while she was pregnant. Again, the allegations are pretty similar to everything we're already seeing. Like there's drug-fueled parties, that there's maybe some child sexual abuse, there's physical abuse happening. In this book, he claims that Kim Porter claimed that Diddy allegedly set Faith Evans up to be with Notorious B.I.G. in order to monitor him, and that she always believed that Diddy was behind his murder. It alleges that there were sexual relationships with Jay-Z, Will Smith, Clive Davis, Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, Jamie Foxx, Jada Pinkett Smith, Al B. Sure, who was actually Kim Porter's ex-husband. There was like a little freak off with the three of them happening. Oh. Allegedly, Kim Porter said that she found a vault of tapes that Diddy had made with his sexual encounters, and she used them against him as leverage to get away out of this relationship.
Oh, wow.
And that Kimora Lee Simmons was actually present when Kim Porter threatened to release these tapes. And then, not long after, she dies of pneumonia. Can we trust this book? I'm going to say probably not. I mean, again, most of these allegations are not new allegations, but it just sounds like this guy might be trying to profit from the press, you know?
Yeah. He could just have like a little bit of detail and just be confabulating.
Yeah, I think there was some article that he was like, you know what, maybe it's not 100% true, but maybe it's 80% true.
Right.
You know? So Usher and Bieber, let's talk about them first.
Oh my gosh.
You know who Bieber is, right?
I know Bieber.
And you know Usher.
Yeah, I know Usher.
Usher lived with Diddy when he was a kid, and Usher discovered Bieber, as we know. They were all kind of in the same circle. So when Usher was like 13 or 14, I told you that Diddy became his legal guardian for a year, and he lived in New York City with him. The creepy thing is like all of the old interviews that are
all of the old videos that are just like coming out, and we're like, how
did it get missed?
How did it get swept under the rug for so
like that
long?
Usher was being traumatized.
No, I mean like even in videos, Usher's is like.
So I'll tell you, like there's this Howard Stern interview in 2016. They're like, so how was it living with Diddy? And he's like, I got a chance to see some things. Went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it. I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. And they said, would you let your kids go to Puffy Flavor Camp? And he was like, absolutely not. I would never. Okay. Except then he handed over Bieber. In 2004, Rolling Stone, he's talking about like, I learned so much from Diddy. And he says, sex is so hot in the industry, man. There was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen. There's old clips of Puff Daddy talking about, quote, wrestling with Usher when he was 10 over cereal. A former bodyguard claims that he was present when Usher had to go to the hospital in Scarsdale, New York, after being assaulted by Diddy.
Yep.
Claims that people, including Usher's mom, knew that this had happened. And he was like, I don't want to go into details, but like, again, he's like, you know, this happened to Usher. Usher's mom knew, nothing ever happened. But it definitely sounds like a grooming situation.
Like Usher being like, I just like, when are we going to get to work? And Diddy being like, just stop. Like, we're going to get there. And like, Usher was like, I came here to learn the music business. I'm not here to party with you. And like Diddy would get upset with Usher.
Again, it sounds like, so I'd say up until this point, it's like Usher was 100% a victim, right?
Right.
But the issue becomes...
But then he turns around.
The issue becomes the fact that he didn't protect Justin Bieber, who we'll talk about has gone on to try to protect other people.
Right.
Interestingly, also, we'll talk about Justin Bieber, but on the day that Diddy was arrested, all of the previous, like 400 tweets from Usher's account get deleted.
Yes.
And then he's like...
a bunch of tweets got deleted.
Oh God,
he's like...
That's so incriminating.
But like, he's like, oh, I just got hacked.
Yeah, he said he got hacked, but then there was like multiple celebrities' tweets got...
Yes.
It wasn't just...
Pink and... Was it Megan Fox maybe? Oh, there was.
Oh no, it was Megan Fox. I just read it on Twitter.
Yeah. So that's if we go into Justin Bieber then. For 48 hours, Diddy becomes Justin Bieber's guardian.
48 hours
for a weekend. And so there's all these videos of like 15-year-old Bieber and Diddy. And Diddy's like, he's having 48 hours with Diddy where we're going to hang out. What we're going to do, I can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Then there's a clip where there's two of them on Jimmy Kimmel. And they're like, how was your 48 hours with Diddy? And Diddy says like, he knows better than to talk about the things he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Yeah, and he puts his hand on Justin Bieber's like leg.
Don't talk.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like everyone's like he just like freezes. Yeah.
Then there is another video where he like shows up at the recording studio or something, and Bieber is there, and Bieber looks so uncomfortable, and Diddy's like, you ain't been calling me, we ain't been hanging out the way we used to hang out. And so everyone's like, what does that imply? Was like Bieber like, I don't want anything to do with this. You know, he had these like substance issues, right?
Right.
So he kind of disappeared, and he's kind of disappeared since then. Like we see him, but he hasn't toured or anything. There's like videos of him kind of when he had his like, you know, bleach blonde hair,
right.
where he just looks completely out of it, hanging with Diddy. Like, is he drugged? Is he, even if he's not drugged, they're like having him, they're like, you know, drink. And it's like, this guy looks like he doesn't even know where he is.
Yeah.
There's some kind of questionable videos out there that I think might be capturing him being victimized, but I'm not going to go too much into that. And then this kind of goes into two. There's all this resurfacing now about Justin Bieber maybe protecting Billie Eilish. I know you're a Billie Eilish girl.
Yeah, I was reading it. I didn't know how Billie Eilish got connected.
So the deal was Billie Eilish, she won an Oscar in 2022 for Best Original Song. And she stood up, and the first thing she did was hug Diddy before anyone else. And it kind of became a joke. Like, you didn't even hug your mom. It's like, hug Diddy. And as far as we know, that's like really the extent of their interaction. Like, we don't have any evidence that they've been like hanging out or doing anything. But after that happened, Justin Bieber came out, and he was on an interview, and he started crying, and he was like, I just don't want her to go through anything that I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. I think about how young I was and so impressionable, and you have everybody telling you how awesome I am at all times. If she ever needs me, I'm going to be there for her. I'm just a call away.
Do you know that she's famous for being a Justin Bieber fan?
I didn't know that. Well, so then there's like an interview of her where she's like talking about all the stuff that Bieber has gone through, and like she just can't believe, she doesn't say what it is, right? But she's like, Justin Bieber, he's been through so much, and I can't believe he's still standing out after everything he's been through, and I just like so appreciate him. So the theory is that Justin Bieber was victimized. He sees Billie Eilish hugging Diddy, and
he's like, no.
So then let's talk about Britney Spears. Here's a crazy theory out there.
Oh my gosh.
Is Diddy partially responsible
for her conservatorship?
For her conservatorship. So the connection I found. Lou M. Taylor was Sean Combs' business manager. And allegedly her assistant, Robin Greenhill, was responsible for making monthly payments to sex workers on behalf of Diddy. This also goes into, we are waiting on the edge of our seat for the 50 Cent Diddy documentary to come out.
Gosh.
Do you know how 50 Cent is associated with all of this? His baby mama, his ex, he's not on good terms with her.
Yeah.
But is one of the sex workers that apparently
is on retainer.
Robin Greenhill was making monthly payments to.
Wow.
For Diddy. So that's the connection there. So anyway, Lou M. Taylor, whose assistant is making these payments, she is Britney Spears' manager. Okay, so Britney Spears' autobiography, The Woman in Me, that she released, was that last year? This year? Last year? She writes about Robin Greenhill, this assistant, and she's like, she was Taylor's lackey. She ruled my day-to-day activities. She monitored every move I make. And she claims in the book that Lou Taylor was responsible for conspiring with her dad to implement this conservatorship. And she talks about how there's email evidence of all of this that verifies that they were kind of in cahoots. And Lou M. Taylor actually served as like the co-conservator with Britney's dad of her estate. Okay. Also, interestingly, Bieber used Lou M. Taylor for a couple of years. This is rather recently. And then I think he dropped her after the book came out. But one more connection. So we know that Taylor has ties to Diddy. Now, we talked about xylazine you mentioned xylazine.
I did?
I did. It's a drug that
it's like a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, and it causes like generalized
when did we reference that before?
changes. I might have just been talking.
I think it's like laced with fentanyl, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a horse tranquilizer.
But it kills your skin.
And this is what a lot of the victims that have come out with complaints have alleged, that xylazine was used to drug them against their will.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, this all comes back to Britney now, because if you look at the videos, so when all this conservatorship started, when she started to have her breakdown, we started to talk about, like, does she have substance issues?
Yeah.
She went to a party at Diddy's the night before the VMAs in 2007.
Okay.
The next day, she shows up to perform at the VMAs, and that's when she looks completely out of it. She's like stumbling. Everyone's like, she's just kind of like singing and rocking, right?
Yeah.
Singing, rocking. And everyone's like, what's wrong with her? What is she on? But now we know
she's on
less than 24 hours. Well, we don't know that she was on xylazine, but we know she was at a Diddy party. And so who's to say
she wasn't drugged?
He didn't drug her. She shows up to the VMAs. She looks like a hot mess. this conservatorship process starts happening.
Brittany,
So anyway,
such a sad.
is Diddy in on it? I don't know. That's one of the side stories.
Yeah. Oh, I just heard that.
Yeah, Lou Taylor.
Lou Taylor was also Lindsay Lohan's manager.
Interesting.
And tried to put her under conservatorship.
She seems like someone else who probably needs to be taken down.
She's probably.
I have really mixed feelings about like the whole Free Britney movement, because I did believe she had like probably bipolar. She had some mania, need to be medicated. My issue, so I'm not quite as passionate as other people were about the conservative. I mean, this all sounds very suspicious.
Yes.
But before all this, I wasn't as passionate. But I do think it's pretty messed up that if she's unable to manage her finances, they should not be making her work. Like, you can't be like unable to manage your life, but then someone's like, but we've set up a Vegas residency and you can perform every single night and we're just going to keep profiting off of the money you're making. That's effed up.
It's a circus.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so Ashton, the allegation is that Ashton Kutcher was like biffles with Diddy. They always are photographed together. He was on Hot Ones, where they eat the hot wings, in 2019, and they asked him about his favorite Diddy party memory, and he really dodges the question, kind of implies that like it's so scandalous he can't even talk about the things he's seen.
Right. Ashton's been really involved with P. Diddy, and then I think when P. Diddy went down, Mila was like, wait a second.
He's also best friends with Masterson from
That 70s show?
That 70s show.
Oh,
who was in jail for
raping
women. And then remember, people were kind of mad because he wrote a letter to the judge in support of him.
Yeah.
And I'm just,
I remember that.
We can all be surprised by people we think we know, but it just seems like
I mean,
why are you supporting?
Is kind of surprising, right?
Well, I think especially I would say maybe not like a decade ago, but now he kind of gives off these like
good guy vibes,
family vibes. Now, remember how Ashton's people came out and said they're like, all these photographs are coming out and they're like, that's cool. They're not really friends. They're just like professionals. They just like go to these professional events together.
Right.
Okay. Well, not true. Now we've unearthed all these clips where they're talking about what friends they were, right? Ashton in the Hot Ones appearance was like, well, we came fast friends. We used to hang out and watch football together. In the 2018 Late Late Show with James Corden, Diddy said, I gave Ashton a call one day and said, I heard you're going to punk me and I just don't think it's a good idea. If you do that, that will not end well for you. But I think we should work out a deal. And that's when they became friends. They used to club together a lot. There's all these old interviews talking about it. They clubbed a lot in the early 2000s. In a Time magazine article, Diddy said, with Jamie Foxx, we were a rat pack. So Jamie Foxx, Diddy, and Ashton. We were hanging out, going to the clubs. But in 2003, Ashton fell in love with Demi Moore. They stopped clubbing. They remained close, is what everything says. Okay. There is an uncomfortable clip that has resurfaced from the 2003 VMAs. And did you see this? With the girl from The Ring. Davy Chase, the actress from The Ring, 12 years old. She's at the 2003 VMAs. Diddy, who's 33, is talking to her and he's giggling. He's like, are you coming to the after party? And she says yes. And he starts giggling. And guess who's in the background also laughing? 25-year-old Ashton Kutcher. Yes. So Ashton Kutcher's people are like, you guys are just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, but it's a little suspicious.
That's very...
Especially now that we know how many freak-offs happened after VMAs.
Right. So many.
Yeah. We do know that like Ashton and Leo were Diddy's favorite guests, party guests, right?
Leo,
Leonardo DiCaprio. So Ashton goes into this Brittany Murphy. And again, this is what I was mentioning, that we're going to do a separate episode. This had been on the list before to cover, but there's a whole storyline that involves Britney Spears as well. So we're not going to dig too deep. Come back another time for that episode.
Yes.
But pretty much Brittany Murphy dated Ashton Kutcher. Okay. And then she was married to Simon Monjack, who owed a lot of money to Sean Combs' personal trainer. We know that Brittany mysteriously died at the age of 32 of pneumonia. And you know who else died of pneumonia? Kim Porter, who was going to write a tell-all book, Diddy's ex.
And they both had the same coroner.
They had the same coroner. Yep.
So who's to say it was actually pneumonia?
Well, so then 5 months after Brittany died, her husband, Simon, dies. And also of pneumonia. So the theory was that like maybe there was some mold or something growing in this house. The coroner writes that Brittany died of pneumonia with a secondary cause of severe iron deficiency anemia and drug intoxication. This coroner does Kim Porter's autopsy. You know who else's coroner autopsied? Whitney Houston, Paul Walker, Michael Jackson, Tom Petty.
All people connected to Diddy?
Well, so now
Michael Jackson
now looking back, people are like, well, I don't know about like Paul Walker, but like that some of these people, again, the theory that I think is pretty out there is like, you were a big deal, Diddy took care of you. This coroner, though, was asked to reopen Brittany Murphy's case, and then guess what? He dies. There's a whole wild side theory. I mean, I've heard about the baby oil being like maybe he poured on the ground so girls couldn't get away. Was he just using it for a lot of lubricant?
Give me a
There
break.
is also a theory that if you drink baby oil, for the most part, it's benign. It might just give you like the runs.
Yeah.
But that like if you aspirate it, then you could get pneumonia. I'm like, but you could aspirate anything, get pneumonia.
Right.
And I don't really know that I'm buying that like all these people had dysphagia.
Right.
Why are
just
you
like
drinking baby oil?
No, like if he poisoned them with baby oil.
Oh.
But I don't know how they would all get pneumonia. They all have to aspirate baby oil,
Also, like,
I think that was a non-medical person coming up with that theory.
right. Also, like, I mean, was it actual pneumonia? That's the question. You could,
Yeah.
like,
There's also, I'd always heard that it was like rat poisoning, that they found that there was like rat poisoning in Brittany Murphy and her husband.
Oh.
Maybe, but we got to talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
oh my
I don't
God.
know what's going on with that.
Jay-Z apparently is like the kingpin.
That's what people are saying. Like, you think Diddy's bad? Jay-Z's worse.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know that Jay-Z and Diddy are buddies. Again, people like Ashton, like Leo, who were close to him, are now kind of
Distancing, and they're like going
But
on.
we weren't really friends.
Yeah.
And let me delete any reference to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Once it's on the internet, it's always there.
Always there.
Also, though, you know what else is interesting about these people? We know Leonardo DiCaprio is famous for dating
Younger girls.
young girls.
Yeah.
Who, like, he gets older, they're
They all stay in
and what's the
20s.
deal? Yeah, 20. Once they hit 25,
Yeah.
he's done with them. But Jay-Z also has a type. He started dating Beyonce officially. So people theorize this was going on long before.
Yeah.
Officially when she was 18 and he was 30. That's when they got together.
There's that big of an age
I didn't
gap?
realize that either.
Before Beyonce, he dated 16-year-old. Remember Foxy Brown?
Yeah.
16?
She was 16. He was 25. They dated. They break up. He starts dating 18-year-old Beyonce. He's 30. So
Oh my
do you have a
God.
type?
That's gross.
She was definitely groomed.
Yeah.
Bae.
Yeah.
So what else?
Well, the interesting thing to me, what I've been following is like Cat Williams. Cat Williams is like a comedian, and he has been talking about Diddy for years and being like, I stay away from the Diddy parties. Like, I do not get involved in that stuff. Like, did you see the interview with the guy from That's So Raven?
Sure.
He was like doing an interview like long after, and he was like talking about the Diddy parties, and he was again everybody's mentioning the Diddy parties, and he's like, the craziest stuff goes down at a Diddy party, and he's like, I think he says like, you won't catch me talking about what happened at Diddy's house.
Well, there's like the weird clip with Diddy on a late night show where they're like, so what is this party like? What are your parties like? And it's like so creepy. He's like, well, you got to lock all the doors so people can't leave. You got to turn off the AC. You want to be really hot because then like alcohol affects people differently. And he straight up is talking about like holding people against their will.
Hostage and creating an environment that.
Yeah. Their drugs and the booze is going to affect them differently and make them more pliable.
Yeah. So like he really knows how to sexually assault people.
I mean, he's had 50 years to perfect it.
Yeah.
Because again, he's never been held accountable for anything. So some allegations that we could have missed. Okay, so 50 Cent, I guess, got upset because Diddy wouldn't release Mace from Bad Boy Records. So 50 Cent released a song, Hip Hop, implying that Combs knew who killed Biggie. He says, who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get him. They gonna kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that. And then in 2019, 50 Cent released a song that says, after the VMAs, my baby mama cussed my ass out. I kicked her ass. We back friends like Puffy and Steve. Steve is Nas's former manager who he beat the hell out of.
Oh, yeah.
And then paid him off $500,000, one of his earlier crimes. Okay, so J. Cole. Do you know who J. Cole is? Anybody?
Yeah, my brother met him.
Okay.
He's like more recent.
This is kind of wild. Okay, so yes, so J. Cole, he had the song 2021. It says, you would have thought my favorite rapper was Puff. Back then, I ain't know shit. Now I know too much. Ignorance is bliss and innocence is just ignorance before it's introduced to currency and clips. Okay. Following Diddy's arrest on sex crime charges September 16th, a conspiracy theory about J. Cole's 2013 hit song, She Knows, started circulating online. I've seen these videos and they're kind of implying She Knows is like a reference to Knowles.
Oh.
Beyonce. The series suggests that the title of the song is a play on Beyonce's last name, Knowles. And he says, only bad thing about a star is they burn up. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. Rest in peace to Left Eye. Michael Jackson. I'll see you just as soon as I die. And so some listeners started interpreting this as like cryptic insinuation that Beyonce, Diddy, and Jay-Z had a role in the untimely deaths of these iconic artists. That's a theory.
One of them. Yeah.
What makes it crazy, though, is that Jay-Z went to wild lengths to shut this down. He actually issued a DMCA takedown notice to remove She Knows from social media.
Oh my gosh.
After this theory went viral on TikTok.
Sounds very much like when the government releases a statement and says, guys,
you know,
also probably would have flown over the
that's
head
what I
of
mean.
people. Yeah.
But now that you're making a stink about it, it's like, wait,
why?
Is there something to this theory?
Yeah.
Eminem has a lot. Most of them are more recent from like 2024, but he talks again about in Kill Shot in 2018, the day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he puts the hit out that got Pac killed. But the big one we know, again, this is 2024, when he said he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, Diddy.
Yeah. Got
He
so
says-
many essays.
Yes.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living, but I ain't trying to beef with them because he might put a hit out on me like Keefy D. Get him. I'm giving nightmares to Billie Eilish. I'm Diddy's side bitch. That was 2020. Word to Puffy. I'm blowing up like Kid Cudi's car. Because again, that's the allegation. Sounds like something Puff would do at a party with Aaron Hall because I just love to fuck with you. Aaron Hall is another R&B singer I'm not familiar with, but apparently he's been accused of multiple sexual assaults with Diddy. So it's just kind of wild that it's like people knew. You're talking about like these comedians. These, just like it's just like a open secret.
It's just a thing that everybody knew about.
You've been seeing the tunnel.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing there's some like reels about it online that there's like tunnels underneath his house. That's like what I thought in my head was an underground railroad. You know, back.
We've talked about this, that you guys believe the Underground Railroad was really underground railroad.
Right.
Yeah.
So a la Underground Railroad in Kate's brain. But I've also heard that those are like debunked. Like there's not actual, or if they're tunnels, they're not letting us know about the tunnels.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it. So there's been so many stories about the tunnels, but I could not find any proof that the tunnels exist. So again, the social media rumors allege the tunnels maybe go to the Playboy Mansion. Others say they go to Michael Jackson's property.
Yep.
Now he had a lagoon-style swimming pool with a grotto that was like connected by an underwater swimming tunnel, and so there maybe have been a couple of photos of that people have used to like allege tunnels. But if you look at the construction records, the law enforcement searches, and the property listing, none of them have any evidence of tunnels. So. Friend of the pod, Jillian, actually reached out to us on our last episode to let us know that we forgot to include a very popular reference.
Which one was that?
Khloe Kardashian.
Khloe is the middle one.
So Khloe is the youngest of the three oldest.
Wait, hold on. She married the basketball player.
Correct.
She has a different face.
Lamar Odom.
Questionable who her father is.
Yes. Is she OJ's daughter?
Yeah.
Is
she the hairstylist daughter?
Yeah, other conspiracy.
Yeah.
And she kind of was my favorite, although Jillian was like, I think she's the most screwed up one.
You know what? I think so too. My favorite is Kourtney.
I guess Kourtney is the most down to earth. I think you're right. So,
although I don't watch the Kardashians,
so apparently they reference there's multiple quotes from the show in which they talk about how Khloe Kardashian, she was kind of a party animal in her younger years.
Yes.
And she was actually sent to be on tour with Diddy when she was 16.
No.
Why was she on tour with Diddy? She wasn't a singer. She wasn't a dancer. I can't figure out in my Google deep dive what she was doing.
Oh no.
Or why her mom allowed that, but we know that she was touring with Diddy when she was 16. We also know the Kardashians like to hang with Diddy. There's lots of photos online. They have lots of references on Keeping Up with the Kardashian. They were all at his 50th birthday party. Oh, in a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they talk about how Khloe went to a party, and she talks about she was with Diddy, his adopted son Quincy Combs, rapper French Montana, and Justin Bieber, who was only in 2014 at this time he was 20.
Right.
And we know he was around for that.
Is this when Justin Bieber was hanging out with Kourtney?
Yeah, well, there's a rumor that he might be the father of one of Kourtney's kids.
Yeah.
And she says that like there was this wild party. Half the people at the party were butt naked. She says she didn't even leave the party till 5:30 in the morning. And then at one point, Kourtney turns to Khloe's friend and says, like, asks her about the party. And Khloe turns to her and says, "Don't say anything."
Oh. That's
So
suspicious.
are the Kardashians involved? I don't know.
Probably.
Finally, the thing I think we need to talk in a separate episode. We need to cover Michael Jackson in its own episode. But interesting also that Fahim Muhammad is Diddy's like fixer. You know about him? Head of security.
Yep.
And what was he doing before that? He was MJ's head of security.
Oh.
He was the
I
second.
do know there's like hardly anything online about him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I do think it sounds like he really was like a nobody. Everyone's like, how did this guy go from becoming a
Right.
nobody to like
Right.
the head of security?
Like if you look at his Instagram, there's like 2 pages,
Yeah.
2 pictures. Like on his LinkedIn, it says like what he did, but like nothing about him. Yeah.
Well, he was second on the scene after MJ died, 1 year into his job. And so then he goes on and becomes the head of Diddy Security. About Ellen fleeing the country.
Oh yeah, girl. Ellen fleeing the country. Okay, very suspicious. Up there with DiCaprio. These clips of her, like him being like, I have the video, Ellen. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're like, he's like talking about it on the show. How many times?
There's so many
was
clips
it
where people are
talked about?
referencing things.
Yes, and we just
No one knew.
didn't
Because it
pick
seems
up on it.
too crazy for normal people like us to think that like this is happening out
Yeah.
there. Yes, she moved to England. She claims that it's because Trump won the election, but you know, there's a lot of celebrities moving to England. I will say under the 1972 extradition treaty, UK will extradite to the US anyone charged with a felony under US law that is punishable by at least a year of jail time. So she's not safe in England.
No, she's
But
not.
also, how about this resurfaced tweet from 2016 where she wrote, "Happy birthday, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, or as I like to call him, Cuddle McSnuggle Stuff. You don't need to know why."
Yeah, gross. We know why now, Ellen. Yeah. Okay, do you know anything about Jonathan Odie?
I don't.
Oh,
Who is this person?
my gosh, Megan. So Jonathan Odie is a South African native who became a U.S. citizen. In 2018, he posted on Instagram in front of a flag, American flag, like, I'm a U.S. citizen. So happy. He was like a social media influencer for fitness. He was like a fitness social media. He was so excited. Under the Instagram, it said, God bless the USA, finally an American. Then, like a weekend later, he went inside Trump National Doral Miami Resort and like caused a huge ruckus. He got into a firefight and chase with police. He wanted the Secret Service to get there, and then he let himself get arrested. So this was like in 2018 when Trump was president, right? And so he caused this big ruckus in one of his
in a Trump hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after he was so excited about being, a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
So then, in a bizarre interview by the Secret Service, he says he did this whole thing for a wake-up call to America because he worked very closely with Diddy. Diddy and Cassie hired him as a sex slave, and he claims that, he had to have sex with Cassie, and Diddy would be there. And
Well, this does sound like the MO that we know about Diddy. Okay.
And so he says that often Diddy would be working, and he claims that Diddy would be on the phone saying that there's a whole group that is planning to sabotage President Trump, that it's called the Boule, which is a group associated with the Illuminati, and it's plotting, are you ready for it? An assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Okay, but this all allegedly happened 5 years ago.
2018.
Okay.
He said that Diddy would be on the phone during these freak-offs, that the CIA would be mentioned about taking Trump out, just like they took out Kennedy. And the whole reason they want to do it is they want to dissolve the U.S. into chaos and ultimately to fail as a country.
Okay, I've got some questions, Kate. So this all happened 6 years ago, and we're just hearing about it now.
No, in 2018, people reported on it, and they were like, why is he talking about Diddy? Like, this is all crazy. Like, he sounds crazy. But Megan, if you watch the interview, it is scary.
I mean, that is a little interesting that
in 2018,
was calling out Diddy long before Diddy was getting called out.
Yes. That's why it's coming back up.
But the Diddy to the CIA and the Trump assassination attempts, that's quite a jump.
You said it is bigger than Diddy.
You're right. Is that what you think he was using shotguns for?
Yeah.
The three.
That's exactly what I think he was using it for assassination attempts. We don't know. We don't know. This is all crazy. But in 2024, there have been 2 arrested individuals for assassination.
I know, but that's also, they've not been good attempts. And they've been.
Well, I don't even think one actually was an attempt. I think they just
found the guy.
Yeah. And then the other one.
That one was a weak attempt that just had a poor response time.
I think the other one was actually a good attempt because remember, he just moved his head. Yeah, he just moved his head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
But I mean, the guy was out in the open, right?
Yeah, and the Secret Service didn't do anything.
And they were just like, oh, why is there a guy in that?
All this, there's all this pushback, right?
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? It sounds really out there, Kate, but at the same time,
you got to watch the video.
It all sounds out there. The things that sounded out there 2 years ago, it's like, oh, but they're actually happening. You know?
Right.
So this sounds really out there, but who knows? In a year, we'll be like,
I don't know. I believe it.
I'm sure. I know you do.
The Boule is part of the Illuminati. And then there was something else about Alfredo P. Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is Alfredo P. Gonzalez is incarcerated in Cannon City, Colorado. He's in a prison, a correctional facility, I guess. And he's part of the Sinaloa drug cartel. Okay, that's from Mexico.
Okay.
And there's actually no other there's no public record about why he's in the prison. You can't look it up. I don't know why he's actually in the prison.
That's sus.
I know. However, he filed a claim on August 13th, 2024 that it was a defamation claim against P. Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that P. Diddy, he got a phone call. This guy is part of a drug cartel. He does bring drugs across from Mexico. He's already saying that. That's probably why he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets a call from an anonymous business partner of P. Diddy, who's telling him next time you come across the border with your drugs, bring some kids. And he's this guy is dude, I've got morals.
Mm-hmm.
I only traffic drugs.
I don't traffic kids.
Yeah, he's absolutely not. And the guy's well, you have nothing to worry about because the business partner's trying to negotiate with him. If you do this for, Puff Daddy, it doesn't matter. He's got it on lock. There's no quote lock.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that's going to happen to you. And so anyway, this guy's no, I want no part of this. And so the business guy hangs up. The calls ended with no agreement to, traffic kids across the border. Then he's saying that he gets another call again, asking again if they would bring underage boys and girls over the U.S. border. And Alfredo's yeah, no, I'm not. I don't do this. I don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do this stuff. So he says the business partner said that they could, quote, make his life hell because of how much power they have on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And that this guy's Alfredo, he's well, you got to do what you got to do. I don't want any part of this.
Even criminals have their line, And when did he say all of this?
He said this August in 2024.
Okay. So this is a recent
thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, he could be looking.
Yeah.
Looking,
so the court case was dismissed because there was lack of evidence. They couldn't find really any way to hold him to it. But it's very interesting to me that those are
yeah.
I mean, again, it's hard to believe the guy in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that's because again, you want to believe the victims. You want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but it is almost harder. It is as the more publicity this all gets, then the more you have to think I mean, this guy's got something to gain. He's in prison. If he can testify against someone, is he going to get out?
Right.
And it's just interesting. You didn't come forward with this accusation until
when was Diddy?
Well, August 2024.
When was he arrested?
Was it September? So he gets arrested, and then this guy in Colorado is oh yeah, he was trying to get me to smuggle children for him.
No, because this was before. before he was arrested. But it sounds.
But the arrest was also like 6 months after the.
Yeah, there was like
the
a
press.
whole like
He was
press.
waiting to get arrested in New York. Yeah. Okay. Let's touch on the flurry of tweets from Kanye in February.
Oh.
Did you see this? When he reached out to Trump and said, "Free Puff."
No, I didn't. But you know what? Like, is this a manic episode?
He wrote, "At real Donald Trump, please free my brother Puff. Just for clarity, they trying to make an example out of Puff. Me and my brother had our issues, but these white people trying to use Puff to scare N-word. I'm neither scared nor brave. This just me." West then shared a link to his online Yeezy clothing store, which is now selling t-shirts in partnership with Combs' famous Sean John fashion line. How is Sean John still around?
What? Wait. I thought Kanye was like, had been accusing P. Diddy of like making him.
I don't think Kanye knows how he feels day to day.
Yeah. I'm very
About
confused.
anything.
Yeah. Somebody put Kanye into it. He needs a conservatorship. Yeah. Conservatorship.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
He's all these, again, flurry of tweets. I'm selling the Sean John collaboration that me and my brother spoke about before they locked him up. So we split in the profits 50-50. And then he said, I just found out that Puff is not allowed to make or collect money while he's locked up. So I'm going to send his half of the money to Justin, which was Justin Combs, his son.
Yeah, his son.
Who should also be facing some charges, though. So, but he's not locked up.
No, he's not locked up. And like, my guy, Kanye, Yee, are you on your meds?
He's not on his meds.
No,
he doesn't.
This is a straight up manic episode. I'm telling you.
He said, I stood up for Puff and I'm still winning 20 Grammys next year and doing the Super Bowl.
20. Somebody take the keyboard from him. Somebody take the keyboard from Donald Trump and somebody take the keyboard from Kanye.
On February 22nd, one of Diddy's 6 lawyers quit. Remember this?
Yes.
This is about a week after the Jay-Z.
He was like, nah, I'm out. I'm going to head out.
Yep. Anthony Rico, one of the 6 defense attorneys, filed a motion to withdraw from the case. He gave no explanation. He just said, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. It is respectfully but regrettably requested that the court grant the relief requested. And so, like, for us non-lawyer people, it's like, he's a criminal lawyer. He's got to have represented some reprehensible people who've committed some reprehensible crimes. So I just feel like in order for a criminal lawyer to be like, you're so despicable that I can't even represent you. Exactly. And then I'm wondering, like, were there threats? Did he threaten him and his family? Yeah. Did he want him to do things that were illegal and immoral? Because there has been a lot of talk about his attempts to jury tamper and whatever. Again, we've talked about that. There was Ready Yak One on Reddit did say, if your client does something very unethical, like informs you he lied in court, bribed someone, etc., then you can't disclose because of attorney-client privilege, but you can quit the case in a dramatic way to make it known that you do not condone the behavior and you did not perpetuate the unethical or illegal behavior. Again, Diddy's rep continues to say they can't address any of these meritless allegations. Of course. And this has been a reckless media circus and everyone's just trying to, get a payday. Everybody's out for Diddy. Mr. Combs has full confidence in the facts and the integrity of the judicial process, and the truth will prevail. He might have some people in his back pocket. Yeah, he says he has never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man, woman, adult, or minor. What a liar. There are statute of limitations. I looked it up in New York. For child sex abuse cases, you can have a civil case up until the victim turns 55. You can only file a criminal case until the victim turns 28. So that's why people are filing. I mean, there might be some money grabbers out there, right? But I think also legally they're outside the statute of limitations, and that's why there's so many civil lawsuits. We have, at the time of this recording, 62 civil cases. 62. Good gracious. About 15 of those popped up in the last week when I finished researching this. Oh my goodness. Yes. So I hate to just read to you, but I think it's really important that you see all of the similarities. Right. Like he has a method. He's got an MO. The majority of this here, I'm going to describe these 62 civil cases, and then I will tell you about the criminal charges that he is facing next month. Okay. So we talked previously, February 2nd, 2024, about Lil Rod. So we talked about him very in depth in previous episodes, but as a reminder, he was hired by Diddy to produce for him, but he claims that he was responsible for procuring drugs and sex workers for Diddy. He filed a 105-page federal complaint against Diddy, accusing him and the people who work with him of being part of an illegal racketeering enterprise. He alleges that he has, quote, irrefutable evidence of the acquisition, use, and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, the display and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms, and the solicitation of minors and sex workers.
Oof.
He said that Diddy had him record sex acts and that he was lacing drugs with ecstasy. He also accuses Diddy of sexual harassment and sexual assault. He says that Diddy is responsible for Cuba Gooding Jr. assaulting him, Lil Rod.
Yep.
So this is still in progress. Lil Rod has come out to say that Diddy has been harassing him and his family. I don't even need to tell you, I'm going to blanket statement on all these cases. Diddy denies every one of these allegations.
Of course he does.
Okay. There's a few he hasn't commented on, but everything he's come out and spoke against, he's denied. That was February 2nd, 2024. So going back, okay, this all started in November 16th, 2023 with Ventura. Again, we've talked about her at length. This is the girlfriend who started it all. She accused Diddy of sexual assault, battery, trafficking, and requiring her to engage in sex acts. Quote, Mr. Combs asserted complete control over Miss Ventura's personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold. She also claimed he demanded she carry a firearm for her in her purse, which kind of goes back to the J-Lo.
Mm-hmm.
The J-Lo allegation with the gun, and that he forced her to engage in sex acts with male sex workers. She claimed that his staff and Bad Boy Entertainment employees were aware of the abuse. And so this is the one that she initially filed. They settled within a day. She dropped the lawsuit with prejudice, which means she can never file against him. But this is what caused everyone else to come out.
Right.
Okay. Then we had Lil Rod. We also have in December of 2023, Jane Doe. There's a lot of Jane and John Does.
Well, yeah.
And they're all filing to keep their name under wrap. Pretty much none of these have gone to trial yet because what do they say? The wheels of justice move slowly.
Yes.
So we don't really have, there's a couple that have been dropped I'll tell you about, but otherwise all of these are ongoing and Diddy has denied all of them.
Of course. He's such a narcissist.
Mm-hmm. December 2023, Jane Doe comes out. She alleges that when she was 17, Diddy's buddies lured her to Diddy's studio where she was drugged and gang raped. In November of 2023, we had Liza Gardner. She was 16 when she was lured to Diddy's house and then raped by he and his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, Diddy showed up and assaulted and choked her while threatening her. So it's important to note about this case and several others. I talked in the past about the New York Adult Survivor Act, which gave victims a 1-year window to file civil complaints that had previously been outside the statute of limitations. And I think actually that got extended to 2 years. So a lot of these were filed like at the last possible moment. So people talk about like, why didn't you file criminal charges and why are all these charges coming up now? It's because this law in New York allowed them to extend anything that was outside the statute of limitations.
Oh, yeah.
This one was filed on the last possible day. It's still in progress. Diddy denies this. She included singer-songwriter Aaron Hall in this one. He has not responded to the allegations. We have Joy Dickerson also about the same time. She met Diddy when she was in a video while she was a Syracuse student.
Mm-hmm.
They went on a date. Diddy drugged her and then assaulted her and video recorded the assault. She made accusations against Diddy and then the video was leaked. So she's suing for assault and battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, trafficking, and revenge porn. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, Grace Mariah. So this is actually an allegation against Diddy's son, Christian, for sexual assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. But she has a claim against Diddy because she was a deckhand on his yacht. So she felt that he should be responsible for her safety.
Right.
His son assaults her. She alleges there was a constant rotation of suspected sex workers and other A-list celebrities such as French Montana and actor Cuba Gooding Jr. So you start to see these patterns. It's like the same people. She's suing Diddy for fostering an environment of debauchery.
Weren't the sons like when he first was, his house was like searched? I just remember like, weren't the sons like a part of it too?
Yeah, you kept thinking the sons had told on, which I don't think is the case. But the sons were, there's video where the sons were like put in handcuffs and everyone's like, that was so traumatic.
Yeah.
And I think we do hear that at least a couple of these sons are kind of in some of these other allegations. Right. And then we had also talked about like, Ray J. I mentioned last time how like Ray J got into a fight at a Halloween party with his sons.
Right.
Like 3 of his sons.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like, it was like, oh, like he'd been talking smack about Diddy. These 3 sons jumped him at a Halloween party. And then all of a sudden he was like, well, I don't really know. Maybe Diddy's innocent.
Right.
It's like, I think the sons are, I think, as Colleen would say, right? Apple tree. But
yeah. It's also like, you're raised in this. This is how you're raised.
Yeah.
You're
what kind
like,
of parenting did you have?
Yeah.
and they're all really standing by him. So he's still controlling them from inside, and they're trying to help him manipulate like the jury pool.
Right.
There was a model at Fashion Week. Diddy said he had all this power. He could help her career. He gave her a lace joint, plied her with alcohol, followed her to the bathroom, and forced her to perform oral sex on him.
Ew.
Then she claims he blackballed her from the industry, and she kept all of her clothes from her attack unwashed in a plastic bag. So perhaps we'll have some proof.
Some DNA evidence.
Yeah. April Lampros accused him of battery, sexual assault, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and committed a crime motivated by gender. So she was an FIT student. He said he would mentor her because, again, he's in the fashion business. She then claims that she was raped by him 4 times between 1995 and 2000. During the third encounter, she alleges that he forced her and Kim Porter to take ecstasy and have sex with each other, and then Diddy raped her after.
Oh.
And then she says he took a video, and people have seen this video. So that allegation is out there. So again, a pattern.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
Derek Lee Cardello Smith. So this was in June of 24. He filed a personal injury complaint that he was sexually assaulted by Diddy. And so he is an inmate. He claimed he met Diddy in Detroit in 97 at a Holiday Inn. And I think before I was like, what is Diddy doing at a Holiday Inn?
Right.
They were drinking, and then they went to a private hotel room with 2 women. He claims that he was hooking up with a woman, and then Diddy groped him. So he decided to bail. Then Diddy offered him a drink, and he became drowsy and passed out. He woke up in pain, claims he filed a police report, but that Diddy paid off law enforcement. He has a, quote, agreement of silence and confidentiality from 97 signed by Diddy himself and others, including Michigan law enforcement, and claims Diddy and his financial advisor actually visited him in jail and offered to pay him over $2 million to drop the charges. Diddy didn't respond. Cardello Smith was awarded $100 million, which has since been vacated after Diddy's lawyers appealed, claiming there was no proof of any of this and Diddy never even met this man, which I think, like, don't they document your jail visitors? Like, can't they go back and figure out if anyone visited him?
Right.
He has refiled. He claims he plans to call J-Lo as a witness.
Oh.
Because we know she was involved in the 99 shooting.
Right.
Little Rod said that Diddy did it and J-Lo covered for him. Anyway, this one's still ongoing. Diddy denies.
I think he did it.
Dawn Richardson, who was in Danity Kane. We've talked about Danity Kane in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diddy Dirty Money. She reports that she witnessed Cassie Ventura being choked, strangled, and hit by Diddy, and he threatened her when she tried to help. She also reports seeing Kim Porter leave the studio injured. She said that Diddy would party with underage girls and drug them and assault them, saying things like, "This is a buffet, enjoy yourselves." Ugh.
Ew.
Her allegations are that he threatened her safety. She was a victim of gender-motivated violence. She was sexually harassed and assaulted by Diddy, and she is suing for sex trafficking, sexual assault, sexual battery, and false imprisonment.
As she should.
Talia Graves, who I think is represented by Gloria Allred.
How do you remember that?
Because she's a big one. Her boy,
like, Ebola was found in the river. Hold on, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's named after the river. And you're like,
you have much more beneficial knowledge than I do. Her boyfriend was an executive at Bad Boy Records. She says Diddy gave her a glass of wine. She lost consciousness. She was then violently assaulted physically and sexually by Diddy and his bodyguard. I want all these people around Diddy to go down too. So
right.
When's that coming? I guess hopefully after Diddy goes down.
I just can't wait for Jay-Z and Beyonce to be taken out.
Well, I'm going to get to Jay-Z in a minute. Okay. She did go to the hospital after, but didn't want to report the rape because she was in the middle of a custody battle. I think another pattern I see with all these is that it's like people who were easy prey, like people going through custody battles, people who want to get into the industry, people who work for him.
Well, I mean, yeah, those are the people that are like, you put yourself in questionable positions, right? Like you have like an insecurity complex. Like that is the MO for like people being taken advantage of.
Yeah, or I feel like it's like these people that he's like, they're all like, he blackballed me from the fashion industry. He blackballed me from modeling. He blackballed me from music because I complained, like I spoke about what he did.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, he does have this, it seems like he really has an MO.
Right.
Drug them, videotape it. If they talk about it, show the videotape to people.
Right.
We have another Jane Doe who felt forced to go on trips with Diddy, and he would just send people to bring her to him wherever he was.
Right.
He assaulted her over a 4-year period up until the raid. She says he forced her to ingest ketamine, forced her to have sex without her consent. Said after one assault, she became pregnant, and Diddy's ex-girlfriend harassed her to have an abortion, but she ended up miscarrying. She also reports that Diddy recorded encounters without her consent. So again, as I mentioned, this is a theme. John Doe, there's a lot of John Does. John Doe rape, assault, and battery, aggravated sexual abuse. He was invited to a party through industry connections and had one drink and then became disoriented before becoming paralyzed, unable to move or speak, while Diddy and multiple men assaulted him. A lot of these people are maintaining anonymity. Okay. There's another John Doe in 2008, claims he was working at Macy's when Diddy and his bodyguards entered. They physically assaulted him and then Diddy sexually assaulted him.
Oh.
He reported it immediately to Macy's, but was then fired because Macy's had a multi-million-dollar deal with Diddy.
Wow.
When
was this?
So that one was in 2008.
This is before Me Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2006. I mean, also these go from like the 90s to like the time he was arrested.
Wild.
Yeah. 2006, this John Doe was working security at Diddy's party. He says that after one drink, he became ill and Diddy sodomized him. He reported it to his supervisor immediately. So there are like a lot of outcries on these too. It's not like these people just came out of nowhere 20 years later with allegations.
Right.
There was a Jane Doe who met Diddy in June 95 at a party and he violently raped her before telling her he would make her disappear if she told anybody. There's a John Doe who was 16 in 1998 when he was invited to a white party. He says Diddy grabbed his genitals for an extended period of time. A Jane Doe in 2004 was 19 when she was invited to a Diddy party. When she arrived, his guard locked her and her friend in a room, and then Diddy forced her friend to give him oral and then raped her. There's a John Doe from a 2022 Ciroc party who alleged that Diddy pulled him aside at the party, exposed himself, and then grabbed his genitals. He said the assault stopped when a professional athlete, who he does not name, entered the room. There's a lot of professional athletes that pop up in these stories too. There's a John Doe who was a personal trainer. He says that Diddy and an unnamed celebrity at a 2022 awards after party assaulted him. He says he was asked to sign an NDA and then was given a drink. He was then taken into a room where several well-known figures were engaging in group sex. He became disoriented and then Diddy performed non-consensual oral before passing him around to the other guests. This is awful.
It's just disgusting.
Okay, so here's
so like how many STIs has Diddy had?
I bet you he's got a doc on call who's just like prescribing
amoxicillin,
yes.
clindamycin for his gonorrhea.
Yeah, you got a little burning?
Yeah.
Here you go. Okay, so here's a big one we've talked about in the past that this is the one we have some conclusion on, okay?
Yeah.
So in October of 2024, another Jane Doe filed a claim against him. She claimed that he and another male celebrity, whom she initially identified only as Celebrity A, lured her to his house party after the 2000 VMAs and then drugged her and raped her when she was 13. She reported that Celebrity A raped her first, then Diddy. Following the assaults, Diddy attempted to force her to give him oral, while Celebrity A and a female celebrity, identified as Celebrity B, which later we all were assuming was J-Lo, watched the assault. Then in early December, Celebrity A was identified as Jay-Z, and he aggressively denied the claim. So we talked about this in a previous episode. In February, the plaintiff dropped the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning charges can never be brought up again. So we could think Jay-Z may have gotten to her. But I will say, we thought her story was a little sus. Because it was like she walked to a gas station and called her dad, but her dad does not remember ever picking her up at a gas station. And yeah, so we were kind of unsure. There's some audio that has since leaked from PIs in which she says that Jay-Z was present but did not take part in the assault. And she claims her lawyer, Busby, who's representing a lot of these people, we'll talk about him in a second, kind of put her up to adding him into the lawsuit. So anyway, it was dropped against Jay-Z and Diddy, and Jay-Z is now suing her and her lawyer for defamation. And then another Jane Doe was invited to a party in Diddy's suite in 2014. She took a couple sips of Ciroc and then became disoriented, woke up the next morning with Diddy and evidence of an assault. Another Jane Doe in 22 went to a Diddy party where she saw widespread drug use but had only one glass of wine before becoming disoriented and losing consciousness. She was tied up and raped.
This is why
it's just patterns.
I don't party with people that I don't know. This is why I'm distrustful.
Well, I think this is like, clearly he's got a lot of money and power, and it's like a complete, I just think it's a power trip. I just think it's an attempt to control everybody. Okay, this one is sad. They're all sad. This one is particularly sad. There was a John Doe who claims he was 10 years old in 2005. He auditioned for Diddy alone. Diddy gave him a soda. Then he felt funny. He passed out, and when he woke up, his pants were undone, and he had evidence of penetration. He reported to his parents immediately, but they were afraid of the consequences. In 2008, a John Doe who was 17 tried out for Making the Band. He was assaulted by Diddy and his bodyguard before being eliminated from the show because Diddy said he was, quote, untrustworthy due to reservations about performing oral sex on his bodyguard.
Oh.
DeWitt Gilmore, in 96, he was physically assaulted outside of a club. He says he had shots actually fired at him. He's suing for assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, seeking $5 million. In 2022, a 39-year-old John Doe attended a, quote, glamorous party. Was it a white party? Maybe.
Probably.
It was at Diddy's place in New York. He lost consciousness after one drink and woke up being sodomized by Diddy.
Boo.
John Doe in 2001 auditioned for a role in a music video. The casting director gave him a Diet Coke that tasted funny, and then he passed out, and that just breaks my heart. Okay?
I know.
It's nothing sacred.
Leave the Diet Coke out of it for the love.
Yes. He woke up being held down by Diddy's bodyguard and being assaulted by Diddy. He was then assaulted by the bodyguard, an unknown man. And he said afterwards, someone said, "Hope you had fun," as he fled.
What a dick.
There's also a pattern of a lot of dick-like comments afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's like a bunch of like rat boys.
Yeah.
Who are like,
Untouchable.
right.
Yeah. There's a Jane Doe who was 17 when she was invited to a Diddy party that took her phone and purse when she entered. She had one drink, became disoriented, and woke up with evidence of trauma. There's an 18-year-old who was escorted with her friends to a limo where Diddy was waiting with 6 members of security. She said they were given a drink before becoming disoriented and being forced to perform acts against their will. So again, I want to know about when is his like posse going down?
Yeah.
You know? In 2022, there was a party in Miami. So all these happened either Miami or New York.
Right.
This John Doe says he had a drink and got a tour of the house, which ended in a bedroom with 3 men and 2 women. The women were forced to perform acts on the men, and the victim claims that he woke up to being assaulted by Diddy. Brianna Bana Bungalin in 2016, she was battered and dangled from a 17-story balcony. She was an employee of Diddy's and said he would terrorize her, force her to take drugs, and assaulted her. We've also talked about that. Like, what is with all of these guys dangling people out of windows? I thought that was things that only happened in mob movies.
Or, yes, or General Hospital.
Yes.
Yeah. Sonny and Carly.
There's a Jane Doe who was 19 in 1991, and she says she was at a charity basketball game. So, by the way, that is the year of the Stampede death where he had like a charity basketball game.
Yeah.
And there was a stampede and all these people died.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm wondering if that's the game she's referring to.
Right.
She said he gave her some soda and then she became woozy and then he raped her and threatened to kill her. Philip Pines, sexual battery, sex trafficking, harassment, and emotional distress. He claims he was Diddy's assistant. He said his duties included getting Diddy's food, laying out his clothes, running errands. Those errands included setting up, quote, Wild King Nights, which were parties which required him to book hotel rooms and stock them with red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, marijuana, honey packs for male libido, and baby oil. These parties would go on for days. He would have to bring more baby oil, Astroglide, marijuana, sex toys. Plan B, they were giving out Plan B.
I believe that.
ED drugs, illegal drugs.
Ew.
Afterward, he would have to clean up. Can you imagine being the guy who used to come in and clean up after like one of these parties?
Ew,
Oh.
the smell.
Diddy also had a, quote, MVP bag, which was a Gucci bag filled with drugs and sex toys that he would, like, you know, have at his parties. There's a 16-year-old in 2000 who was the babysitter. He gave her a drink to calm her down and then assaulted her. 2015, a rapper was introduced to Diddy to discuss signing him to his record label. He was given some Ciroc, felt lightheaded, had loss of consciousness. He woke up to being assaulted by Diddy. And then Diddy tried to force him to have sex with a woman, but he was able to flee. It's just like, again, very similar.
Right.
Jane Doe in the 90s was drugged and held captive at a party. Diddy forced her to have sex with others while he watched. He then took her and her friend to the Trump Hotel penthouse and he assaulted her there.
Ew.
There's a Jane Doe who was waitressing a white party in 97. She was given a drink that she said was laced and was then raped by Diddy's buddies at the behest of Diddy. Then Diddy took her to the Trump Hotel where she was raped by a club promoter under Diddy's direction. 2012, a 17-year-old minor was in a club and was invited to Diddy's table. After a shot of Ciroc, he became disoriented and was in and out of consciousness while being raped by Diddy. So don't take anything from Diddy. Definitely not any Ciroc because there's a lot of that, huh?
It's just like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take a soda.
But it's not, yeah, you can't even take, it sounds like with Diddy, you can't even take water,
It's,
you know?
honestly, with Diddy, it's like, just don't even accept the invitation, my people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I'll talk about some of these people did turn him down and that just
Made it worse. Yeah.
There's a John Doe who was an artist that met with Diddy in hopes of being signed. He had a drink and then became disoriented and then was orally and anally assaulted and left incapacitated. In 2009, there was an 18-year-old who was told by Diddy that he would help him with a recording contract, but then he drugged and assaulted him throughout the night. The next morning, Diddy asked himself if he enjoyed himself and asked for his number. So it's also like, not only does he assault them, but it's like these zingers at the end, like, hope you had fun, hope you learned something.
Yeah.
That was great. Can I get your number after you just like assaulted me?
Right.
In 2006, a 21-year-old John Doe was told to strip for Diddy at a model casting call. When he refused, he was groped by Diddy. In 2016, there was a 20-year-old Jane Doe who was offered a drink in a club by Diddy. She declined, and he said, quote, "Bitch, I'm not asking you. Drink that shit and shut the fuck up." So she took a drink and was then digitally penetrated violently before she was able to get away. And she says hotel staff, she was such a mess. The hotel staff had to assist her to getting to her room.
Oh my God.
So I do think that in some of these cases, there are witnesses
right.
that are not within the Diddy posse. In 1999, a 23-year-old was drugged and held hostage for hours at Diddy's home, enduring, quote, hours upon hours of continuous groping and attempting to force her to have sex. In 2022, a Jane Doe was picked up by some men to take her to a Diddy party. She had a drink, then became dizzy before being escorted to another room where couples were hooking up. A group of bodyguards attempted to assault her, but she got away only after they took a picture of her ID and told her they knew where she lived. So can you imagine being assaulted and then just like living under that constant fear also?
Of like, yeah.
Like they're going to come for me at any minute.
Yeah. And I can't do anything because they know where I live. Yeah.
Within that batch also, we have Latasha Forbes et al. So this is actually 7 individuals who are making joint allegations. I don't see how any of them are kind of connected, but the 7 of them together are making this complaint. Latasha Forbes herself alleges that Diddy gave her a drink, then he violently raped, sodomized, and sexually battered her and encouraged others to do the same. The other 6 victims report being assaulted between the ages of 14 and 23 in various locations, including Florida, New York, video shoots, and a 2010 audition for making the band. There's a John Doe who says he was drugged and assaulted in 97 at a recording studio and then was given cash to keep quiet. In the late 90s, there was a John Doe who was operating a denim clothing line and was collaborating with Sean John, which I can't remember was his big clothing company. He claims that in various locations, including a white party in the Hamptons, he was groped inappropriately, but he never could say anything because this was a business relationship and he didn't want to lose the contract.
That's so sad.
So again, these are all, he's like in power, positions of power over all these people.
Right.
In 2007, 18-year-old Jane Doe attended a white party in the Hamptons. After a few sips of a drink, she felt loopy. So the friend leaves her on the couch. Friend goes to call a cab. Friend comes back, and Diddy and 3 friends had the victim naked and were assaulting her.
Ugh.
As they left, they were reminded that they had signed legal documents and, quote, what happens at the party stays at the party. 14-year-old John Doe knew Diddy through his dad. Diddy invited him to his hotel room in New York City to listen to music. The victim alleges that he had a drink and then he was in and out of consciousness. He awoke to Diddy assaulting him and a female voice asking, "Should I keep recording?" And Diddy said, "Yes." Jane Doe, there's a Jane Doe who's alleged an assault against Big Joe. So this is actually against Diddy's bodyguard. She claims he assaulted her at gunpoint in 2001, but she says he, quote, functioned as an extension of Combs and that his conduct was frequently directed and encouraged by Combs. There was a white party in the Hamptons in 2003 that a 19-year-old was DJing. He said, like, near midnight, they said, "Here, have a drink." So he has a drink and he passed out in the DJ booth. He was overpowered and assaulted by 4 men, including Diddy.
I just don't understand. Like, what is...
I don't just not going on for 30 years, pretty much. You know?
And I don't... What I don't understand is, like, I don't know. I'm just like...
No one around him said anything? Oh, yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Well, again, I think, why did Epstein have to have sex 4 times a day?
Right. Like, gross.
Yeah. There's a Jane Doe who says she was in the bathroom at Justin's, which, remember that Justin's is the New York restaurant. There's also one in Atlanta, I think, that Diddy owned that was named after his son. Diddy forced himself into the stall and demanded sexual acts. She refused. He became violent before a professional athlete intervened. We have a lot of professional athletes intervening.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Who are these? LeBron.
I'll tell you who one of them is in just a second. There's a Jane Doe who accused him of assaulting her in a New York City nightclub. Again, similar story that she says he entered her bathroom stall while his bodyguard watched out. She was able to get away because someone else entered the bathroom and distracted him. Kirk Burroughs versus Sean. So Kirk Burroughs is a co-founder of Bad Boy Records. He says that he was forced to witness sexual acts involving Diddy. His lawyer said, quote, Combs orchestrated these encounters as a means of psychologically breaking down the plaintiff's resistance and establishing his submission. He talked about like he would get called to his office, he'd walk in and like there was like an orgy happening. And then he was bullied and threatened into signing over his 25% stake in Bad Boy Entertainment and then was blacklisted from the music industry.
Oh my gosh.
Diddy did respond to this saying, "This guy's been filing lawsuits against me for 30 years. They've all been dropped. This is just like more of the same and it's not true." One that has been in the news here that I want to give a little extra attention to. There was this lawsuit that was filed in October of 2024 and then amended in March of this year. It was Ashley Parham and an anonymous Jane and John Doe. They filed a lawsuit against Diddy, Odell Beckham, and actor Drew Drewski DeBoards. I think he's a comedian. A restaurant manager named Shane Pierce, Diddy's mother, and his chief of staff, among other individuals. So Parham says that she met Pierce at a bar in California where he FaceTimed Diddy.
I can't stand Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, this might be a false allegation here.
Well, I still can't stand him. Just saying.
So she says that she meets this guy at the bar. Pierce, he's trying to impress her, so he FaceTimes Diddy, and she's like, "I'm not impressed, and I don't even want to meet you because I'm pretty sure you killed Tupac," which we also think he was involved.
Was part of it, yeah.
I think Tupac would have died either way, but I do think Diddy tried to take a hit out on him. Diddy said that she would pay for that comment. A month later, in March of 2018, she claims that Pierce lured her to his house under the guise of having cancer and needing help. When she arrived, you have to be a really shitty person,
right,
to do that.
To say you have cancer and need help, right?
When she arrived, she was met by Diddy and a bunch of other individuals. She said Diddy threatened her with a knife, saying he'd give her a Glasgow smile, and then assaulted her with a TV controller. And then she was raped by Diddy and others. She said that Diddy instructed Drewski and another individual who she claims was Odell Beckham to rape her. She filed a police report at the time. The response from his lawyer is Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California on the day Ms. Parham claims she was assaulted, and the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department has already confirmed her claims were determined to be unfound following a thorough investigation. In an attempt to salvage her claims following the investigation debunking them, Ms. Parham has now invented an even wilder narrative alleging a vast and implausible conspiracy between law enforcement, local civilians, and media industry players. Her far-fetched tale contains it all: fake cops, cash bribes, and an alleged victim of the late Michael Jackson who was purportedly kidnapped across state lines and forced to sign paperwork at gunpoint while shepherded through a web of safe houses. No sane person reading this complaint could credit the story, and Mr. Combs looks forward to having his day in court. And then Drewski came out on Twitter. He said, "This allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry." And then Odell Beckham responded saying, "Now I'll tell you what, this world makes absolutely no sense. I am covered by God. He will prevail. I know who I am. I know who you are. Keep your head. That name will be cleared." Has Odell Beckham had any allegations against him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I still don't like him though.
So then we have Leslie Cockrell, was a 24-year-old. She went to a Diddy party in the Hamptons. She believes her drink was spiked. She was taken on a house tour that ended with her being pushed into a bedroom and assaulted by multiple men. She could hear other voices in the room of men laughing. She woke up in a car outside the house, and the security guard who drove her home told her to keep quiet. Justin Gooch in 1999 was 16. He met Diddy at a nightclub where he gave him ecstasy and alcohol, then invited him to the bathroom for some ketamine. In the bathroom, he was assaulted, and Diddy said, "That wasn't so bad, was it?"
Diddy is, ugh.
We have, in 1985, Aristalia Benitez was 20 and a student at NYU when she met Diddy at a party and was given a drink. He immediately began groping her, and she was fighting him off. Then she doesn't remember anything until she woke up in the back of a taxi wearing different clothes. She had evidence of assault. 93, Jane Doe, who was 16, was invited to the recording studio audition as a backup dancer. There were two other girls in the studio, one who she says was only 13. They were giving non-alcoholic drinks before losing consciousness. She woke up in the back of a car with evidence of assault and bleeding. She went to the hospital. And then we have...
I don't understand, if all these like documented instances were happening, why are we just now getting like pressing charges?
Well, I think they probably were too afraid to press charges. And I think that, again, I don't believe that all of these can
like
be real.
Actually happened, yeah.
But I believe many of them did.
Right.
And I think probably they were too afraid to press charges because, again, I think he knew how to find a victim that
he was just too powerful. He's like the mafia.
And then again, I think New York passed this law saying like you can't file a criminal like charges against these people, but we can file civil lawsuits. We're going to extend that window. And probably once you have Cassie coming out and laying the groundwork and other people coming out, it's probably a lot easier. I mean, whether you're being honest or not, right? It's a lot easier to file a lawsuit when you're victim 62,
right,
than being victim 1.
That's true.
So then in 2017, there was a signed artist. She says she was groomed From the first time she met him, there were multiple instances of rape, sometimes while she was incapacitated and sometimes she was videotaped. He videotaped one of her assaults and shared it with others. And then finally, we have Kendra Haffney. In 2007, she was assaulted multiple times. At least one of these times was after he incapacitated her with drugs while she was on his TV show, I Want to Work for Diddy. So, except for the one charge I told you was dropped, all of these are still in progress. Diddy denies all of them. And so this is what he's facing if he even gets out of his criminal charges, right? He's still going to have all these civil lawsuits waiting. Yeah. And I'm sure there's more to come. I was trying to figure out exactly, I know that there's at least 3 lawyers representing all of these people. I'm sure there's more than that.
Right.
And we keep hearing about this guy, Busby. So Busby's the guy who in October, he had a press conference and he put out this 1-800 number. And he said, like, if you were a victim, if you're a witness, call me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, as of December, he'd had more than 3,000 calls and he had at least 300 potential clients against this rapper. This guy is again, a personal injury lawyer who's known for negotiating settlements for some 30 women who accused NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual assault.
Oh, not Deshaun from Clemson.
And so again, I'm not sure. I know the majority of these charges are filed by him, and the Diddy's side is really coming out saying, like, this is a 1-800 lawyer who's just looking for his payday.
Yeah.
And I will say that story with the girl who added Jay-Z that we didn't really believe to begin with.
Yeah.
And then there's audio of her saying, like, I don't know about this guy, to be honest. If I was a victim, this is probably not the guy who I would.
They're not wrong. It's probably like he is looking for his payday.
Yeah. But I couldn't really figure out, like, how many of these victims were being represented him, but I do know a lot of them were. Those are the civil charges. The criminal charges. So again, these all kind of came in response to Cassie Ventura with that initial charge. The original indictment alleges that Diddy, quote, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct from at least 2008. So racketeering, we've talked about in the past, it means illegal activity for profit that is disguised as legitimate business dealings. And the prosecution alleges that under the, quote, Combs enterprise, he was running a criminal enterprise, claiming members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice.
Yep, it's the mafia.
So he is facing 1 count of racketeering conspiracy. If found guilty of that, he will face life in prison.
Ooh, put him away. Put him away. That's my vote.
Diddy is
put me on that jury.
Diddy?
I would not be. I would be a very biased juror.
I want jury duty so bad, but I know I will also never get picked. Diddy is accused of knowingly transporting a victim across state lines with the intent to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors allege that he attempted and willfully transported female victims and sex workers for this purpose on multiple occasions. So 1 count of transportation for purposes of prostitution carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. So he's facing that.
Right.
And then he's facing 1 count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which has a mandatory minimum of 15 years with a maximum of life. So the original indictment, this is kind of an update here. The original indictment detailed a trafficking indictment with victim 1, whom they alleged Diddy knowingly recruited, enticed, and transported for commercial sex acts. They claimed Diddy's actions impacted interstate and foreign commerce through reckless threats of force. So victim 1 was always assumed to be Cassie. But last month, an expanded indictment was filed accusing Diddy of dangling a person over an apartment balcony, which again tracks with what we've heard, and coercing 2 additional women into commercial sex acts. So they expanded the indictment. It also reports the racketeering conspiracy dates back to at least 2004, which is 4 years earlier than previously thought. So this update was just that we had 2 new victims, but it was no change to the charges. He responded to this saying, quote, the government has added the ridiculous theory that 2 of Mr. Combs' former girlfriends were not girlfriends at all, but were prostitutes. Mr. Combs is as committed as ever to fighting these charges and winning at trial.
Man, I'm sorry. They gotta have some real fight in them. And I just don't feel like they're gonna win.
Yeah. Well, they have to fight all of these charges facing life in prison.
Right.
They're gonna get through that. I mean, he has gotten away in the past. I think he's not getting away this time.
No.
But say he miraculously gets away with it. They've got 62 civil cases and counting.
Right.
To deal with. His life is over.
Right. And even if he makes it out, he's never going to overcome this.
No. On March 6th, this was the most recent update to his criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutors expanded the allegations to their case again, saying that he had forced his employees to work long hours with little or no sleep, and he had his employees help him hide his acts of violence, abuse, and commercial sex. They said he used physical force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm to cause the employees to engage in sex acts with Holmes. So that tracks with all those civil allegations. So those are kind of the criminal charges he's facing. What is he facing them? Let me tell you. His trial will begin on May 5th.
Oh, Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo?
Not to be confused with 6 de Mayo.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. Prosecutor Emily Johnson told the judge that the government will need 3 weeks to present their case. And then the defense lawyer said the rappers team will need a week for theirs. So we're looking at probably a month-long trial.
Yep.
It is scheduled to take place in New York City. It is expected to be public. We suspect it will be open to the press, but not live streamed. And again, he's facing 15 years.
I would give
life
anything
in
for it to be
prison.
live streamed.
Yeah. I think we're going to be looking at the sketches and reading the
Yeah.
Twitter updates.
That's
you know?
so annoying though, because like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp was live streamed, and it was like, I don't want that.
We still think he's just a shitty.
Yeah, he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
He's just burning hell.
There's no theory here. He has charges of conspiracy. I think there are probably some people trying to make some money off this whole thing, but I think that's the minority.
Us. We're trying to make money off of this.
We're not making any money off this.
We're trying.
So hopefully someday. But I mean, I'm sure Busby is trying to make some money.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure some of these clients are just looking for their payday.
Right.
But I think the majority of them, again, they have very similar stories. Very
it's
similar
like
MO.
it's too similar to like not
Mhm.
be a pattern of evidence.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
likes his,
Underage
early 20s
roofies.
Yes, more often than not, he is roofing them. They lose consciousness after a sip of a drink, sometimes not even alcohol.
I'm just trying to can you imagine the drug content if you lose conscious after one
Yeah.
sip?
Well, I mean, I think GHB.
You think he's putting some propofol in them?
I think he's putting propofol in it. I think he's got access to date rape drugs.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he has a lot of again threats. A lot of you signed an NDA. He has a lot of snide comments afterwards. A lot of these people waking up in cars, being threatened by people.
He's nasty.
And again, a lot of these people, even if it's 20 or 30 years old, they outcried to someone. SVU would tell me that makes their story much more plausible if they had an outcry witness.
Yeah.
Guys, just a reminder, don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3 Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, and our contact page where you can engage with us and share any updates on the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us with links to buy us a cup of coffee and links to our merch store. As always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, the listens, the likes. Kate, what should the people do?
I would really like it if you guys took out your phones right now and text 3 people that you think would actually really like this podcast episode. After that, you should scroll on down, leave us a 5-star review, leave us a comment, share us with your friends and family. Go to our Instagram page and interact with us. Go hang out with us on Reddit. And then if you guys drink a Diddy this week, shout us out on the Instagrams and maybe we'll put you on our story.
But definitely don't use any Ciroc.
No, absolutely not Ciroc. Just Tito's. Tito's.
All right. See you next Tuesday.